Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for the first match reaction to the game against Chelsea and Man City. Chelsea lose 2-0 on the game. Lots to discuss, lots to get into, from players to tactical to fans to it's a bit of everything, really. There's just a lot to really go through and get involved in as well. Please smash the likes, guys. Subscribe if you're new. Lots to get into. We've also got a bit of transfer news, which we're going to start off with, guys, as well, before we get into the nitty-gritty. And then we've got the panel joining us as well to discuss the overall analysis of the game, guys, as well. Please make sure you're smashing the likes, guys, though. If you're new here, please subscribe to both Chelsea Fan TV and GNA TV as well. And yeah, let's cue that intro. Yes, people, welcome back to GNA TV and Chelsea Fan TV for this match reaction show, guys. I hope you're all well. Football's back on. This is the most important thing. We should all be happy that football is back. Chelsea losing to Man City, though, on the day. We're going to be discussing that as well. Make sure that you're smashing the likes, guys, sharing it out. Let's try and run it up, guys. Please hit the thumbs, because if we don't hit the thumbs, it won't spread the stream. And we need to spread the stream, because today we're going to talk not only about the performance and the players, but we're also going to talk about the fans as well, because they're just, yeah, we need to have a discussion quickly about the fans as well. And I think it's worth having these talks, guys. So please make sure you hit the likes. Nearly over 50 people in the building right now. Keep sharing it out. How are we all doing in the chat, guys? Come and say hello in the chat. Also, guys, do me a big favor if you haven't done already. Check out Foco. It's right here below, Foco. Go and check them out, as you get literally 15% off with the CFTV 15 at checkout on any merchandise, Chelsea merchandise, guys, as well. Who's not interested in Chelsea merchandise? Go and check it out, guys. Go and check it out. It's worth checking out and seeing if there's anything you like. You've also got the opportunity to get yourself into winning a match ticket at Stamford Bridge as well, with a purchase of one of the items from Foco, guys. So go and check out Foco over there and see if there's anything that sort of, anything you like, really. If there's anything you like. Right, 75 people in the building. What we saying? Monday, the day after the game. We're going to start off with a bit of transfer talk quickly, guys, which is where we're going to go to first, as I know people are still sort of coming in at the moment. The first one that comes out is Raheem Sterling, because he wasn't announced in the squad yesterday as well. And there was a lot of confusion. What's going on? What's the situation? His team came out and obviously put out a statement as well. And then obviously we had today this comment here: Chelsea fully support Maresca's technical decision on Raheem Sterling not being a part of the Chelsea versus City game. It was communicated on him Friday, and the club is 100% supportive, with Maresca fully behind him. Now, why he was put over there, we got told it was for, I don't know if it was to do with for a transfer reason, even though I think it probably partly does. But also I think it was just to do with, I don't really know, actually, because they've not really gone into detail, but to do with maybe him just not, being a part of the team, or maybe his mind not being there, or I don't know what the situation is. But Maresca's made a decision that if you're not going to be a part of the team or be around the team, then he wants people away from it, But yeah, sorry, just watching. Something come up. It's just this fan base, I swear. Sorry, guys. How are we all doing? Good to see you. So yeah, with Raheem Sterling, we'll see in the next couple of days where he stands with the football club. Are we looking to try and sell him potentially? I don't know where we could be going. Saudi, Premier League, somewhere, Italy. I don't know. There's no real talks about it at the moment. Obviously, he's got a very hefty wage at the moment as well, which is something that maybe they're thinking we need to get off the books. But I reckon we'll have a bit more clarity I think we'll have a little bit more clarity in time on this one, guys. Nearly 100 people in the building. Just reading the chat from a Newcastle fan who actually likes channel. If that defeat was under Poch, your fans would be furious. From a Newcastle fan who actually liked this channel, if that defeat was under Poch, your fans would have been furious. Well, they are. That's the problem. And I mean, it's game one. I think, but look, I'm going to get into the fans in a minute, to be quite honest, because I feel like it has to be said, to be quite honest. Someone has to say something about the way things are going at the moment at our club. Let's see what's saying. Jerry, how are you? Josh, what are you saying? He doesn't affect the game in any way, to be honest. It's the worst, Jim. Who's that? Sterling? You talking about Sterling, Josh? Leo, how are you? Why are you? I don't know who he's talking to. Sterling has a move to Saudi written all over it. That's what Liam says. Yeah, it sounds like it, potentially. You know what I mean? It sounds like it. Sterling was very average at Chelsea, but who will take him? He was very average, but his stats show 19 goals and I think, is it 19 goals and 12 or 13 assists since he's been here? Not great output, but then you compare it to some of the other people we've got playing off the wing, you know, it'd be even worse. Chelsea fans really bottom of the barrel. Yeah. At the moment, people need to chill. Yeah, we're gonna honestly trust me, guys. We are gonna delve into it. Right, let's move away from Sterling. I'm just quickly throwing through the transfers, and then we're gonna get into this whole game yesterday as well. Talk about it on and off the pitch as well. What's going on with Felix? Well, not much at the moment. All we know is that he is going with Atletico Madrid tonight. The deal's still supposedly being discussed. We were told over the weekend that it could be very soon, coming days, that we're at the final stages. This is Fabrizio Romano's words. Who knows? Mail Sports says Chelsea, João Felix, including Atletico Madrid squad for Villarreal, clash on Monday as Blues plot a 40 million move to sign a star, but Samuel Omodorian is left out as well. Listen, I still think Atletico are taking us to the cleaners. In fact, signing him for what I saw the other day from Fabrizio Romano between 34 to 38 million, I was actually all right. I was actually all right with that, to be fair. I think it was actually not a bad deal. When it was like 50, 55, I thought, nah. But, 34 to 38 million sterling sounds right. But Samuel Omodorian, if they sell him as well, then not only have they just made their money on Samu, which is the initial agreement, they've also made another bit of money on Felix. So in theory, they just paid off the Alvarez deal, which is what I think they're trying to do at the moment. I'm not going to lie. I think they are trying to bend us over a bit, Atletico Madrid. But I do think this still most probably, some people feeling like it's not going to be done, but I do have a feeling that this still most probably will get done. So we'll see what happens on that. Clown Lake and Blue Co out. Joey. Come on, Joey. What kind of attitude is this first game? Palmer and Nkunku play behind the striker with Noni on the left. Yeah. But listen, guys, we're literally about to get into it. Anyway, over 150 people in the building. How are we doing, guys? Come and say hello in the chat. Smash the likes as well. We have got a lot to get into. Now, going away from João Felix, like I said, we'll keep you updated. Anything new comes out on that. We're going to just quickly fly into Lukaku as well, because Rudy Galetti says that Napoli are taking the last steps to finalise a deal with Chelsea for Lukaku. The club in contact with CFC also for Osimhen's exit is discussing some details of the agreement, details of the agreement for the Belgium. Everything is defined with Romelu on personal terms. So, again, we've been told by Fabrizio Romano that this is two separate deals, or Chelsea want to see it as two separate deals. One for Romelu Lukaku to go out the door, and the other for Osimhen to obviously come in. They ain't going to coincide. They may coincide on the books, but in terms of coincide as in a overall transfer, it doesn't feel like that's going to be the case. Maybe it changes. We have offered them Lukaku, Casadei or Chalobah plus 35 million or 40 million plus cash as well, which I don't know. I don't think is feasible by the sounds of it. So it looks like we're probably going to go into negotiating an actual fee for the deal as well. So Lukaku, for me, we just have to get off the books. We spoke about this many times. Shouldn't be on the books. We need to release that 350, 60k. I think it goes on to what was going on with PSG, because with what's his name getting injured, Gonzalo Ramos getting injured, which will put him out for a couple of months. It put PSG back in the market for looking for a striker. And there was a bit of a high alert in terms of obviously the approach they already had for Osimhen. But now we're being told by Ellie Quick that they've decided not to pursue a deal for Victor Osimhen despite Gonzalo Ramos' injury. That may be just to do with the duration of the injury. They might be told a couple of months only, and maybe they feel it can be dealt with as well. Yeah, so it's effectively still open in the air. I think this one's going to go down to the last couple of days. I think they're going to build it up. I think they're going to do what they always do. However, after seeing the game yesterday, and we're going into that now, which is where we're going. After seeing the game yesterday, and what we saw, I think you can pretty much clearly see why I keep saying we need to have at least 3 strikers, because Mark Guiu and Nicholas Jackson, not saying not great, but they're just definitely not for me. Definitely not for me where we should be going into next season with just 2 strikers. I think we need to have options. I'm just trying to see something because I think Fabrizio is just saying out. Maybe it's got nothing to do with Chelsea, but I need to have a quick look. What is Fabrizio? Go away, man. What has he said? Thierry has decided to terminate his contract. All right, nothing to do with Chelsea. Nothing to do with Chelsea, so don't worry, guys. Just read into that. So, yeah, let's get into the game because we'll keep you updated on more transfer news and targets, guys. That will come on as we go along. Guys, over 150 people in the building right now as well. Lots of discussing in and around the game yesterday. Now, before we even get into the game and talk about it, I want to talk about the players, should I say. I want to talk about some of the decisions, and then one of the decisions which Thiago Silva, funny enough, put a quite a funny comment up, was Anthony again with the decision against Kovacic's handball in the game yesterday, which at the point was still 1-0 on 76 minutes. Was it a handball? I believe so. But as the rule book changed again, yes, unfortunately. I think that's more. So people were saying, is that ball to hand? Is that ball to hand, or is it the other way around? Is it hand to ball? And for me, if Gusto's trying to cut it back and you come up like that with your arm raised here and his arm's like that and it's in an ordinary position, for me personally, I think that's a handball. And I think if that was last season, the season before, I think there's a good chance that might have been given. But this goes to show the inconsistency of the decisions. And I don't really want to just dwell too much on about the refereeing decisions and VAR because, listen, we know what to expect. I don't expect any more when it's this guy in control. I don't. He's called the bald fraud for a reason. Let's just leave it there. Do you know what I mean? There's not much really else we can say. Get the likes up. Yeah, people, get the likes up if you can. Mo, good to see you, man. As always. Natural positions. Not sure they cannot call that. How they cannot call that handball. I know. This is what I'm saying. It does feel like it's a very unnatural position. So, could we say we were cheated again? I don't really want to keep saying that word because we played Man City last season and the same sort of thing happened where they jumped up for the free kick and the arm was out and that was a blatant penalty. And I mean, you look at this, it's the same sort of thing again. And it seems like it's an occurrence that keeps happening at the moment as well. Guys, keep tapping the screens. Like I said, we've got the panel joining soon, nearly 160 people in the building. But let's talk about Enzo Maresca's comments here, actually. I want to kind of break it down before we actually go into it. Obviously, he talks about the attacking three, which was Nkunku, Palmer, Jackson. The reason this was the attacking trio's first game together was because Nico was injured and Cole was not with us, whereas Christo was with us since day one. I think all of them did a good game. We have used Christo already in different positions, but I think all of them, even Romeo, Caicedo, I think they all did a good game, and that's his overall insight of it. Now, listen, do we have better natural wingers on the pitch that could maybe have come on and played? Yeah, I mean, in terms of holding wide, would Nkunku and Palmer prefer to drop in the middle with people running around them? Yes, I think so. You'd want Nkunku attacking the pockets in the middle. But yesterday's game was different for me because I don't want too angry about the lineup. The lineup made sense. I think it was more about the utilization of the lineup, how we actually set up and how we used it, which was a bit more meh to me, especially for the midfield. But when you look at Nkunku's role off the left, I always feel like he could do a job out there. The only thing I would say is I think he's more comfortable and involved playing in the pockets behind. We sacrificed that because we wanted to try and control the game. The stats don't lie because when you look at the stats, we controlled the game. Possession-wise, we had that. The only issue we had, I think, was that we created, we had chances, but we wasn't able to consistently create. And I think maybe that was because we lacked that additional offensive player to be able to carry the ball up the pitch. And we were kind of relying on Enzo Fernandez to play in the 10 role, which I don't like. And at the end of the day, like, I don't want to be too critical, and I don't want to be too anything at this moment in time, because the way I see it is it's game one. I feel like Maresca needs to experiment. I wasn't too keen on the substitutions. I'll be honest with you again as well. I do think Enzo playing in the 10 role was the wrong thing to do. I think the way that he utilizes the midfield was the wrong thing to do as well. But when we talk about the attacking impotence of Palmer playing off the right, who was cutting in, and Nkunku off the left, there were moments in the first half where we looked like we were getting in behind and we had good chances, and Nkunku nearly got a penalty, and Palmer had that shot which Jackson then put in the back of the net. But then I just think with playing in that style, and maybe in the bigger games against the bigger teams, this is what he wants to do, because I think there has to be that tactical flexibility in what we're trying to do, and I think we're seeing that. I think we need to still have a striker up front that has that know-how in front of goal, that sort of, that box presence, someone that can just put the ball in the back of the net, someone that can put the ball in the back of the net and just like take them chances in the moments where you need them to. And not too sure that I feel Jackson is able to do that still, because he's still in his development phase. And it's not that I don't want him to play, and it was his first game in a while, and I think we've got to be very careful, still with what we're seeing. But there are still things that I'm seeing where I'm like, we saw this last season, we saw it before. With a striker, would we have converted someone that can actually put the ball in the back of the net and have a bit of a presence potentially? And it's little things, like the Enzo Fernandez situation, like the way that people are moaning about him as well. I just again, I don't really like. You got Nkunku playing off the left, which he hasn't done all pre-season. All right, and then you've got Enzo Fernandez playing in a 10 role on his own, when in theory, what I think the manager should have done, and again, I'm not criticizing him, I'm just saying what I think maybe he should have done, is played 2 8s with Caicedo and Enzo, one on the left, one on the right. Had Lavia as the box in the middle, because I thought Lavia was fine in how he was dealing with things. What I thought was the issue in yesterday was how close the pivot was. And we didn't need them that close yesterday. We needed them to kind of just press a bit and be away, So for me, equally, the 3 in the middle could have been positioned better and utilized better, in my opinion. And that can all come in time, because he's experimenting. And then he goes into the second half and he goes to make substitutions and he takes Nkunku off. And I'm like, why is he doing that? He's doing it like for like. He's experimenting. He's put Neto on the left. He's put KDH on, which I think is the killer for me, because when you put KDH on at that point and you drop Enzo in after taking Lavia off, you know that we're not having that additional offensive player. So what he could have done is put Palmer in the middle, Madueke on the right, Neto on the left, and put Guiu up front. And maybe that would have given us a little bit more going into the end of the game. However, Man City are Man City. And people that are overreacting, which is a lot of fans overreacting, which I really find very pathetic, to be quite honest with you. There's a lot of people overreacting about a game against Man City when, number one, we're playing against Man City, the best team in the league by a country mile from a long time, with our first game of the season under a new manager, with a new system, like, I think we need to really need to calm down. Really need to calm down here for a second, guys. Like, there was good moments in the game, which we're going to highlight, and I'm going to go through with you guys. We're going to break it down, negatives and positives, and not even negatives, but things that we can talk about, positives and things that we can talk about. Because at the end of the day, I wasn't disappointed with the performance, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't. I thought the performance was okay. I thought we done quite well. I just think the utilization of the system was a little bit meh. With Nkunku on the left, Enzo playing in a 10 role on his own, running around, playing striker in the box, trying to score goals. Like, he's listening to instruction here. But we just want to criticize people without thinking about what's going on in the game all the time. And it's not even just about him. It's about even the way Caicedo was playing, for example. He had a poor game. Out of all of them, he was the poor for me. I didn't like what I saw. Yes, we are, ads. We are. We're going to get into that. I'm going to drop that in. I'm just breaking it down quickly and then we'll get into it. Give me 10, 15 minutes. So effectively, from my opinion, he set us, the format, the players that were listed, I'm okay with, barring Sanchez. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't want to see Sanchez as my number one. Do you know what I mean? And And that's just my opinion. I just don't think he's a number one goalie for us, and he should be. We've got Jorgensen there. Let's give the guy a go at some point. And I hope that Jorgensen coming in Thursday allows him to stay in the team and he performs. That's another thing. The defense had their moments, but they grew in the game a bit later. Fofana, there was still that, what I keep moaning about, which is that switching off of danger, being alert, what's around you, ball watching from Fofana and Colwill, who both had moments, but they still grew into the game later on. Yeah. I thought Gusto had an average game, maybe below par game for Gusto, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. But we weren't bad. We weren't absolutely atrocious. Do you know what I mean? And to be quite honest with you, it's one of them things that, we look at it, we take from it, he learns from it, and we move on. And like I said, it's an experiment for him to start off the game. And we're going to move away from that for a second, because we'll come back to highlighting the game. And I want to talk more about, before we get onto the player ratings, which we're going to do soon, I'm going to get the panel in, Josh, whoever wants coming forward, we'll talk about it all together. I want to quickly just highlight something else, which is key to me. Yeah, they've never played together. And that's the thing, like, they've never played together. And maybe the utilization of what he was trying to do was slightly wrong. Caicedo wasn't good yesterday, guys. Like, I'm seeing him in the chat. He wasn't that good. And he was playing in his natural position. Enzo wasn't playing in his natural position, but was getting cooked. Like, come on, guys. Like, we're going to get back to the midfield anyway. Like, let's get into it. And one of the things I want to talk about before we even get into the game is this, because the one thing that we need to do as a fan base, and listen, I don't care. People can, do you know what? If people want to clip this and put it on Twitter so that other people can see it, let them see it, because I don't really care. And I think it needs to be called out, quite honestly, right? But when you've got a manager that's in his first game of the season against the best team in the league by a country mile for the last 5 years, 4 years, whatever long they've been here, yeah, right? And that we've not only have we just fielded, and I heard this at the beginning of the game yesterday, not only have we just fielded the youngest team in Premier League history, by the way, which is what we've done, yeah, but it's a new system. Players are playing slightly maybe out of positions, which means we need the fan base behind them, yeah, right? All of this. But no, what are we getting from them? They're sitting there singing Conor Gallagher, da, 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 Conor Gallagher, What are you doing? What are you doing? How is that in any way going to benefit the players in their first game against the best team in the Premier League? Sitting there singing Conor Gallagher songs when he's on his way out the door. Like, when is this whole agenda thing going to stop? Where we just, when it's someone's player criticised, they all get angry. And just think about the team for once in their first game when they needed us. And everyone thinks by singing Conor Gallagher songs that, that people were going to just, people were just going to, like, players specifically are just going to take to that and want to just play with it. They can hear everything. They're on the pitch. They're running around playing for the club. They can hear everything that's going on. And what makes it worse is when you've got fans sitting there, right, in the middle game. And yes, our build up slow. Man City are very compact. We've got the whips here. Yeah. Yes, we're very slow, right? But in this moment, you've got our own manager in his first game turning around like this with his hands up. Looking at fans. Because they're booing and mowing because we're losing 1-0 against the best team in the league and we're moving the ball a little bit too slow. But this is what he wants to do. But he's only been here one game. But everyone wants to just sit there and moan and groan in the crowd about how we're trying to do things, yeah, rather than getting behind the team. Rather than getting behind the team. I need to stop this. Rather than getting behind the team, and I find it pretty embarrassing because there's a lot of, like, there's not kids sitting in the ground. There's families. There's elder people that have seen the success of this club. There's younger people that are a new generation coming into this. You need to set an example, guys. You can't sit there booing and moaning and groaning at 27 minutes in or 20 minutes in games and whatever, 30 minutes, moaning and groaning because the players have got the ball at the back trying to, do what the managers ask them to do, which is positional football, possession, moving, finding positions, finding the pockets, playing the balls in. Yeah, it might need to be a little bit quicker and all that. But this fan base don't help. And when Caicedo comes out last season and says oh, I don't, I prefer to play away games. And I think it was Caicedo. When he comes out and says, like, oh, we prefer to play away games, I'll tell you the blimmin' truth why. It's because they prefer away games. Because the small minority of away fans that go to games at Chelsea all get behind the team. And it's a better crowd away than it is at home. And I'm talking about the East Stand, the West Stand, the Shed End, and the Matthew Harding. All of it. So at the end of the day, we need to sort ourselves out. We can't just sit here crying like babies all the time. Like, I get we can be angry and criticize and moan about certain things, but guys, it's game 1 and we're playing Manchester City at home. And it's the manager's first game in his new system with these new players. Give the guy a break. Give the guy a break. And you think the players are going to really try and pick up from our energy by doing what we're doing now? They're not going to pick up positive energy from moans and groans and sitting there. We're not even singing. Get behind them. They will feel it. The energy, the passion from the player, from the fans feeds into the players. Get behind them. You need to help them. They're young. You need to help them. They're young. You can't be sitting there just digging at them all the time. Every 10, 15 minutes, all right, fine. We may be losing, drawing, whatever. They need to move the ball. I get that. But at game 1 against Man City at home, I would have expected us to go into that game with a home fan base, absolutely electric, up for it, singing for as much as they can, getting behind the players, giving them that second bit of energy, rather than Conor Gallagher. Grow up. Grow up, man. You're not helping the situation. None of you are helping the situation. And you're a match-going fans. I go. And when I go, I'm there singing. And yes, I like to have a moan here and there and whatever. I get that with fans. I'm not saying don't moan or anything. But in moments where it's 1-0 with the first game, 20 minutes, and they're trying to play against the best team in the Premier League, they need you. They need us. They can't listen to moans and groans all the time. It's what leads to incidents. The unsurety. The energy's wrong. If our energy's wrong towards them, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make even more mistakes. We've got to get behind them as a fan base, man. It's not the point, Joey. You're missing the point. Doesn't matter. The point is we're at home against Man City, with a new manager and the players playing for this club, and our fan base is sitting there singing Conor Gallagher and mooing the whole fucking time. It's not good enough. We should be getting behind our squad. Whether you like them or not, whether they were crap, still get behind them. Just try and get behind the players and the manager. But that's on you, bro. If you want to completely throw that out the window, that's on you. But all I'm saying to you is that I think it's not helping you all sitting there being negative all the time. You just want to sit there and be negative all the time about the way we're playing, or the owners, or the manager that's just been here for one game. What benefit have we got from that? It's not being fake, bro. This is what I'm saying. It's not even being fake. We're allowed to criticize. I'm not telling you to not be angry about the directors or be angry about what we're doing, what a manager's doing with systems or players not performing well. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying to you is it's the first fucking game of the season up against Man City, right? First game. Of course, we're going to experiment. He's put players on the pitch to play against the best team in the league for the last God knows how many years at home. Make an atmosphere. Make an atmosphere. Instead of just groaning and moaning all the time. Make an atmosphere. Get behind the club, the team. Forget the directors and owners. If you don't like them, put that aside for a second. Get behind the players. Get behind the players is what I'm saying to you guys. I'm not saying be fake. If you don't like something in the club, that's cool. But when we're on the pitch, you all want us to win. So get behind the club is what I'm saying to you. Or do you just want us to fail? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like we need to be together. I'm not saying you have to like the owners or directors or the manager or the players or whatever. But just be a Chelsea fan. Get behind your players. You think the players are just going to... You think the players are just going to sit there and just accept listening to you moaning all the time at them when they're trying to do things on the pitch? Like, yesterday was embarrassing. I'm sorry. The fans were embarrassing yesterday. It's embarrassing. We've only just played game one. It's game one of a fucking 38 season, and we're already starting with negativity. I'd get it if it was 15 games down the line and he hadn't won a game or drew loads and he wasn't doing things that we need to and he wasn't flexible and he was being negative and the players were just not performing again and all that. It's game one. Joey, mate, I don't really know what to say. It's not even about, this is the problem. It's the divide. Like, why are we dividing? It's Chelsea. Like, I'm sorry, mate, but like, I'm not telling you to not to support these owners. Let's back off, support the owners. Yes, in my entirety. I'm not sure about this manager in my entirety. Yeah, I'm not always sure about some of the players we sign, like Felix, in my entirety. But as soon as they put the kit on and they're on the pitch and they're trying to play, you got to get behind them. Just got to get behind them. Get behind the team, the players that are playing for us. That's what I'm saying. It's got nothing to do with the board and the owners at this point. It's about just getting behind your team, guys. Like, especially in the first game against Man City. It shouldn't even be an argument in the chat about it. Why is there such a divide? Yeah, you might not like the owners. A lot of 80%, 70% feel the same. But they still back the players on the pitch when we're playing a game. Like, come on. That's what I'm saying. He's getting sold. He said the reserves because he's getting sold. That's the whole point, guys. You can't just play a player that's getting sold. Like, what are we doing here? And if they've decided to give Enzo the armband, like, don't get me wrong, could he have been punished a bit more for what happened in the past? Fine, but that was between them to sort out. If they've sorted it out in their bubble with the people that were affected within that, the French players and whatever, why are we still, like, banging on about it? Like, I don't get it, guys. I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't really want to turn this into a negativity live because it wasn't about that. All I was asking was for us to just get behind the manager and the players on their first game against Man City at home. Bring energy. Bring a bit of energy. Get behind them. New system, new manager. Be that 12th man. Help them. They're young. Yes, they're inexperienced and young. Just help them a little bit. Maybe we'll start seeing a bit more. I don't know. The energy for players on the pitch when they feel it, it's different. I know I've been there. I've watched the best Chelseas. I go to games. I've watched the best of Chelseas. And even when we was in the mud with them in games, we used to still get behind them and sing. And the away fans do it all the time. That's why the players prefer away games. Because the away fans get behind. They don't stop singing. It's the energy. It's the energy getting in behind. And we need it from a home base, our home. We need that energy, guys. We can't just keep being so negative all the time on game one. I don't know. I'm just saying what I feel. Like, we're playing Man City, bro. Like, this is my point. We're playing Man City, guys. Like, I don't want us to get toxic, and I can see it's getting that in the chat, and I don't want it to be that, guys. I don't want Joey or Bobby or whoever else in here to be against other Chelsea fans or myself in what we're saying. I'm not saying not to be unhappy with the owners. All I'm saying to you guys, yeah, and I know we are. This is what I'm saying to you. But as a Chelsea fan, I'm a Chelsea fan like you. You and me are Chelsea fans right now. As fans, forget the directors and owners for a moment, what they're doing. As fans, on the pitch, when them players are playing for us, yeah, we should be getting behind them. At least get behind, especially on the first game of the season. Not booing and moaning and groaning and singing Conor Gallagher songs on our first game the season. Yeah, you can be upset with maybe the way they've treated him and whatever, but that's not blaming the players' faults on the pitch, is it? They're the ones trying to get us results. Do you know what I mean? Like, just get behind them a bit. That's what I'm saying, guys. Support your team. Anyway, just support them during the game. Put all of what you don't like about the owners and directors aside for a second and support them and see how we perform on the back of that, guys. That's literally it. Like, we shouldn't really be arguing about anything else. That was my whole valid point, is that I didn't like the way the fan base was yesterday when it's the first game of the season. When it's the first game of the season and, you know, the players need us at that moment against the best team in the league. It's not Ipswich at home or whatever. We're playing Man City here. Like, you know, but anyway, we move. Let's go on to some positives on what I saw yesterday. Let's go with some positives that I saw yesterday. And I want to quite quickly highlight this as one of the things. And there were some good moments in what we were trying to do yesterday, guys. And it was the way we were playing and receiving the balls here to Lavia. Lavia into Enzo Fernandez. And this is where I kind of want him a little bit. But I want Caicedo a bit further up. I want him in an 8 role. I don't want him as a pivot here. However, experimenting. Enzo gets the ball. Bang. First time, straight through into Malagusto. And these were little like moments that we had in the game yesterday where, if you look, Jackson then joins, Palmer then joins Jackson in the middle, and we have that sort of effectiveness. But we didn't do that enough yesterday when we're trying to go forward. And I noticed Nkunku maybe a little bit, you know, behind, maybe should have caught up. But like, other than that, there was some good moments. And Lavia, very press resistant, very good yesterday from Lavia. Very good from him. He grew into the game for me, though. At the beginning of him and Caicedo were a little bit flat-footed in moments, but they grew into the game. And Lavia gets the ball, he turns, and he sends us off. And these are little moments where, look, we get out to the right again. He gets the ball into the box to Enzo. And listen, this is a bad touch. Like, end off. Like, it's a bad touch. Is it a penalty? A little bit harsh. He could have took a better touch and maybe passed Palmer, but we didn't. Then the ball gets played into Caicedo here, who plays in Nkunku in the space, right? He gets it back to Caicedo. We move the ball wide and we try and find the wings again, the width, look, and then it receives into Palmer and we beat the press again. And once we beat the press and we get to here, you know, we play a ball into the back post, which, by the way, this is a beautiful ball into the back post to Nkunku, who then lays off Jackson, then holds off the ball well. And Enzo, to be fair, if Akanji isn't there, that's a goal. That's going bottom corner there all day. You know, it's a good block by Akanji and good defending. So there were good moments in the game where we got the ball, Jackson here to Nkunku, out to Palmer, cuts inside, takes the shot. And this is the Jackson goal, which was offside. Again, what Jackson needs to learn, and this comes a part of his development, and he needs to learn it, is he has to look across the line there. He knows Palmer's going to take the shot. There's a good chance maybe the goalie might spill it, maybe, which he did. Yeah. You need to make yourself on, you know, looking across the line here. You need to get yourself looking across the line. Here, Malagusto wins a tackle. Caicedo just straight to Lavia, finds Enzo. Enzo 1-2s him in that position. And then look, this is the position where I don't really want to see Enzo on his own. This is where we should have an Nkunku, a Palmer, someone that can play in that little pocket there. You know, ball gets played into Enzo. He takes a bit of a funny touch, goes down in the box. But equally, it's all about the way we're moving with the ball. And even here, press resistance. Look, Nkunku. Is that Nkunku? Is that Nkunku there? It isn't. Or is that Jackson? Jackson receives the ball there, press resistant, plays the ball into Nkunku off the left, who in theory should have used his left, in my opinion. Cuts inside here. And there was just some very good moments where we win the ball quickly and we move the ball out well. Look, they're pressing everywhere, Man City, and we just move the ball well. We get the ball out. So this one here was very good. Palmer gets the ball, cuts it, a direct pass into Jackson. Caicedo gets the ball here, plays Enzo Fernandez into here, who plays an amazing, listen, that is an amazing ball there. Amazing ball across the goal. It just needed someone to touch it in. So, listen, there was some, this is why I was saying there's some good moments in what we were trying to do. Joey, can we in the chat have a bit of respect for each other here? It's football. Like, what are we doing? What are we arguing about in the chat here? Who's arguing with who again? Can we stop this, please? I don't want to see things like this in the chat. Come on, man. Like, we're talking about football here. AJ, Joey, both mods as well, guys. Come on, man. Sort it out in the chat. Sort it out in the chat, guys. Come on. We shouldn't be arguing about. We shouldn't be getting that deep. It's Chelsea. Should we get that deep about our feelings and stuff? This is what I'm saying, Couch. It's just all because there's a disagreement in what I said earlier in regards to the fans, and I don't want it to be that. I didn't say it for that. All I just wanted you to do, all I was just saying to the match-going fans, was just get behind the team a bit more, instead of just moaning and groaning and singing Conor Gallagher songs. They needed us yesterday, and we kind of let them down a bit. They need us behind them. That was all it was. Football is back, Let's at least be a bit more friendly in the chat, guys. So there's the positives, guys. There's a link in the chat, so if you want to come in, Ads is in the building as well. I was about to go. I won't say negatives. I'm not calling any of these negatives. I'm calling it talking points, not negatives today. Ads, just showing some of the positive moments in the game yesterday. Obviously, I spoke about the overall game partly. We spoke about the fans. Obviously, it's called a bit of an eruption in the chat, which I didn't want it to do. But I mean, how you doing? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm good, brother. I had a bit of a heavy weekend, so my voice is a bit sore. And yeah, the team didn't make my mood too much better. But we're here, man. We're living.
How did you look before we go into the things that are the talking points, which is the goals and stuff, which I want to highlight? How did you assess the game yesterday for you? Because there's a lot of negativity, a lot of angry fans and rivals are feeding from it, in my opinion, and other bits and bobs. And there's others that are saying, look, it wasn't a bad performance. We didn't, we could have been better in moments, but we did okay. What was your thoughts when watching it?
Yeah, overall it feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. A little bit frustrating, mainly because it's a little bit of deja vu. And not necessarily in how we played, because I think that football you can see it's quite clearly different. The approach where we want to play is different to how we played on the pitch, but of course it's a lot of the same players, so you see a lot of the same patterns in that sense. And again, not being good enough in both boxes where ultimately it matters. But in general play, we gave a pretty good account of ourselves. We were second best, but not by much over the whole game. I do think we struggled in sort of the period just before they scored the second goal, and not because they were dominating, just because they were doing what City do, which is to take the stinger out of the game, play at their tempo, be a bit slow, pragmatic, but just keeping the ball and really stifling us, and we couldn't really get onto them. So I thought that period was very poor from us, and the fact that we couldn't really up our intensity at a time where we need to equalize. Other than that, no, a lot of good things to take from in terms of performance. Some good individual performances, which we'll get onto, but ultimately just very frustrating that we're not necessarily good enough in the box to really score and create bigger opportunities and do more of the opportunities that we have. And again, we start the season with a loss, kind of already a little bit on the back foot. So it's important that we turn it around with the Wolves and Palace games coming up in the league. So yeah, man, feels a bit of deja vu here, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I hear you. Couch is in the building as well. Big up, Couch. How are you, bro?
Yo.
How was your break? Did you enjoy it?
Oh,
How was your holiday?
France,
good.
Went to the Olympics, then went to Jamaica, sat in some sunshine, watched Chelsea on the plane home, or at least in the airport on the way home. And wow, seriously, there's a lot that we can take from this match that we can build on, but there are a few things that we need to talk about as well. And one of the areas on the pitch where I thought Chelsea should have no problems at all is in that midfield, and that's where I think that we had the most problems. So, when we get into it, I think we need to focus on that. Obviously, the boxes, as Ads mentioned, was also a big problem. I don't think that they gave us a lot of troubling problems defensively. I just think that when we get in their box, the decisiveness and the sharpness in there needs to be better. And this idea of playing an Nkunku on the left, that needs to go away. I know that once Neto gets up to speed, that will, but we need him in that box, being the guy that's receiving the passes, not the one delivering them, because he's our gunman. Like, let's just be real. Like, if we need somebody to score a goal, it's going to be him, as far as I'm concerned. So he needs to be that guy in the box rather than out in the flank where he's a little bit more isolated. And the funny thing about the game too, like, most of our releases, like, so if we're trying to go long, almost 90% of them were out to the left flank, out to Nkunku, where, I guess, he kind of had the beating of Bob, not really, but big up, man. But at the same time, I want him inside the box. I want him to be the guy that's getting on the end of those crosses rather than the one delivering them. So, tactically, I didn't really like that. But yeah, we can get into the nuts and bolts of it in a little bit. But yeah, that's my general overview of the game so far.
Yeah, look, and this is why I said I think there were some positives, which I showed earlier, where there was some good movements moving forward in the first half and a bit in the second as well, where we moved the ball quite well. And I think it more happened when we actually beat the press, and it was quick football 1-2, and then like release maybe either from Enzo or Lavia, someone playing the ball over to the wides, and that's how we got up the pitch a lot well. And in the first half, it was a lot of Gusto and Palmer actually getting up the right quite a lot, but then it sort of moved to the left with Nkunku and stuff as well. It was. I'd call it experimental personally, because even with the substitutions, I wouldn't say I was too keen on some of the decisions he made, but you could see a lot of it wasn't to change the system for me. It was more of a like for like. So when he took Nkunku off and put Neto on, I thought, okay, but then he removed Lavia and put Drewsby Hall on, and then put Enzo back in the pivot next to Caicedo. I thought, okay, he's not really changing much on this on how the system is.
Yeah, but the quality dropped off though. So he didn't change the system, but the quality dropped off, right?
Yeah,
and I felt like some of the the substitutions
just
didn't have a lot of impact. And the guys that he could have been using, that he could have been using off the bench, like the guys that were playing in preseason, like Madueke should have easily been pulled in for.
But he could have moved Palmer into that middle, couldn't he? He could have.
Well, I would have taken off Palmer and put Nkunku in the middle, because they've been playing the most minutes in the preseason. They have the better understanding. Palmer's only going to just come back, and he hasn't really been up to speed. He didn't.
No, I agree. What I'm saying is, and I said it earlier on, I think what he could have done is gone a bit more offensive and brought Madueke on the right, put Nkunku in the middle, maybe took Palmer off and then put Neto on the left, and maybe one of the midfielders would have had to have come off at that point, which is fine. But it would have given us more of that offensive impotence. And I think we would have carried more of a threat going into the end of it. I just thought we looked a little bit toothless when KDH was in his own in the middle, and Neto was, which I thought Neto done okay. He was running and put some good balls in the box actually. But first game, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's not much saying. This is what I'm saying. I don't want to be too negative about it, because I don't think we were too bad in the game. No. And I just think there was moments. And there was these moments in the game, and obviously the goals, which we're going to highlight now and speak about quickly. But there were just moments where we just kind of just seemed to switch off. And it's like, yes, again, I don't want to be too critical about it, but at the same time, it's things that we kind of keep seeing a little bit.
You're really fishing for another ban, eh? They're just gonna why do you keep using this? Okay, it's fine. It's fine. This guy.
We're good. So. This is the first goal here, and this is what I was saying to you yesterday, Couch, in the chat when I was saying about Fofana, and you can see here, obviously you've got De Bruyne, you've got Silva, and you can see Silva's kind of trying to move into that little space there. My only annoyance in all of this is the awareness to be like, and this is what the best, not saying even the best defenders, but some of the most basic things of a defender you'll do, which is look over your shoulder and see what's going on, right? Because there is a bit of a space between Colwill and Fofana at this point, and I just want my defender to be a little bit more aware of what's going on behind. But what I see a lot with our defenders, and it irritates me to a bit, is just the ball watching. He's not once turned his head over. Gusto can see maybe in the corner that De Bruyne is here. Yeah, Doku's got the ball. He's going to probably either go down the wide or cut in. He ends up cutting in here. And Fofana's still not looking at this point. Look, he's still ball watching. He's so focused on what Doku's doing with the ball that when this ball gets played there, it throws Colwill, because Colwill's now got Haaland behind him. So Colwill's now scrambled across. He gets a little flick on, which completely throws Colwill here. And then we're in trouble. At this point, it's bad defending from Colwill and Cucurella. But it's the fact that I just feel that Fofana was unaware of what's going on around him. Maybe he could have just took a couple of steps back.
But this is what I'm saying. Okay. A little bit. But here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. What you just said right now. Look at the touch that Bernardo Silva got on the ball. Like he barely got on the I'm talking like he stretched up. So nothing that Fofana could do there would stop him from getting that touch.
Yeah, but it would do, because for me, I disagree, because if he'd have took a couple of steps back and that ball, wait a sec.
Okay, so
if he takes
let me explain it to you though. He takes a couple steps back. Look where Bernardo Silva gets on the ball. Like that's what I'm saying. Sure, he's not positioned correctly. I'll give you that 100%. He needs to be maybe 2 feet over to his left, no doubt about it. But this goal is not down to Fofana. This goal is down to the two players that are bracketing Haaland, Colwell and Cucurella.
Well, no, but
because that touch right there.
Because of Fofana. That's what I'm saying, Jack.
No, but he's not. He's bracketing Haaland there. What are you talking
Look
about?
at his movement.
But Couch, do you not feel like I agree? Once it gets to Haaland, then obviously Colwell and Cucurella can do better. But do you not think Levi would adjust the position in better if Fofana is close to Silva? Because he's probably thinking at this point, at this frame here, he's thinking, if Bernardo gets a touch and turns, he's by himself, and he's all of a sudden like his mind is like focused on both Haaland and Silva.
Right, but that's not what happened here, though.
When he's got a focus on Haaland.
But that's not what happened there, though. Like he barely, like No. I'm saying what Ad said was if he was there and he got a touch on it, he's turned in, he's in on goal. That's not what happened here. What happened here is Bernardo Silva drops back, gets a toenail on the ball. It deflects into the path of Haaland.
Yeah, but in this moment here, you're seeing Levi like move towards the ball here because Fofana's not there. I just feel like maybe we're giving our defender too much credit here, but I generally feel like, even though we'll talk about Colwell's game later, I don't think he makes that movement towards the ball if Fofana's where he needs to be. That's what I'm saying. I agree. He wouldn't have made that movement for me.
I agree with forward.
I just think the ball skips. The ball skips by him anyways, though.
Yeah, but it's not the point.
Yeah, I'm thinking he would stay pretty much here, like in line with Haaland.
Now. Yeah, exactly. This is what I say. If he doesn't have to scramble or think, shit, Bernardo Silva there, he would have received.
He moves. There he sort of starts to move.
That flick goes in the area that Colwell was just originally standing, so he would never have reached Haaland.
But the flick is what threw him off, though. It's the flick
that would have made that movement.
Oh my god! It's not about the movement. It's the touch that got the ball into Haaland, though. It's the touch.
What I'm saying to you is he wouldn't be scrambling thinking, crap, Bernardo Silva, he can turn in here and going like that, thinking he's going to cut.
It's still the touch that took him away from Haaland. The touch on the ball, which Fofana had nothing to do with. Even if he was in position there, that touch would have thrown off Colwell. That's what I'm saying. The flick was there that threw him off. It's simple to see.
The flick threw him off, but what I'm saying to you is it's his movement that's kind of made that open. Because look, as soon as that flick's gone, it rolls into the position.
He's flat-footed because of the flick. He's flat-footed because of the flick.
He was already here. Look, he was already there with Haaland. He was there.
I
know what you're saying. The flick's thrown him, but to say that Fofana, who is Fofana marking? That's what I just want to know.
Nobody. He's wrong. He's wrong, but that's not why the goal went in. That's what we were talking about yesterday.
I just feel if he took a couple steps there, maybe he could have intercepted the ball, and maybe Silva doesn't receive it personally. But we'll move on from it. It's a good goal by Haaland, by the way. At the end of it, by the way, just
after that, like Levi's tackle could have been stronger. Cucurella could also do more to be stronger, but it was also a great feat from Haaland and Chip Silva.
It's a good goal. It's just
Yeah.
That's why you need a box striker, someone that can take your chances like that, because that is what we miss.
No, he's a killer. He's a killer.
Like he's a killer. I mean, that's just.
I don't think that goal happens. I don't think that goal happens if we have a Thiago Silva back there, who's a little bit more of a veteran.
Yeah,
and a guy that can marshal a defense.
Yeah,
you're not wrong. Don't get it wrong. But I don't think that's a goal. If you want to talk about the issues in this game right now, it's not even this Sanchez guy, his ball playing ability. It's his fucking decision making, man.
Yeah, his decision making is awful.
This guy's decision, like he's actually a pretty good ball player, like as far as a goalie goes. But his decision making, the decisions that he makes on the ball put the team under so much pressure. That's the problem I have with this guy.
You got
like right here. And if you notice, if you watch when Man City play out from the back and they have like their two defenders flanked on basically the goal line, they know exactly what to do. This guy puts these guys under so much pressure because he doesn't make the right decisions on the ball.
I agree with that. And listen, Sanchez 100%, in my opinion, puts us under a lot of pressure with his decision making. 100% spot on. But then I think there's a couple of problems here from what I see. One is Fofana again, because what he does is he gets the ball here. All right, he's created a problem slightly. The right thing to do here is just play the ball to Palmer. Right? Really,
exactly.
Yeah, just give the easy ball to Palmer. So he doesn't. Yep. He carries the ball a bit more, and he still don't play it to Palmer. Where if Palmer would have received the ball here, he probably would have gone to Gusto, and Gusto maybe would have gone back, and we get out like we've seen in moments in this game, which we've done very well. We beat the press quite well, and we get up the pitch. But
absolutely,
he goes and just decides to do this hoofing ball up the pitch that goes nowhere other than to Kovacic's chest. Caicedo's following, I think that's Bernardo Silva at the time. And then this is just poor. He goes to commit to the tackle and just gets shimmied to his ear. Now, I'm looking at Enzo Fernandez's position here.
Where is he going?
He's going with De
Where
Bruyne.
is he going? No, he doesn't have to go with De Bruyne. He has to defend the middle of the pitch.
Well, he's coming across. He's coming across here to go to De Bruyne, thinking he's going to receive the ball. Fairs, all right. He's just assuming that that's going to be the case.
That's a horrible assumption to make.
Totally.
Caicedo completely gets beaten, and at this point, you know what Kovacic's strengths are. He played for us. What is at this point? He drives. All right. Enzo doesn't get near him. Now, my next big problem is Colwill in this, because not only is the midfield be beaten here, look at Colwill. How many times is he going to keep backing off? Why does he not press? Why does he not? He does it all. He does this too much, by the way. He just steps off. So he gets to here, rather than hit him and shut off the shot. It allows him to shoot, and it's just it's poor all round, from Fofana to Caicedo to Enzo to Colwill, and then to finish it off, I'll be quite honest, it's the save, because he should have a stronger hand to that. It wasn't a great shot. It was good enough for him to just parry that out for a corner. So there's a couple of things there wrong for me, guys, which I just feel should have been better.
There's quite a lot of things wrong with there. And again, obviously, that this was the period again that I was talking about earlier, where City were just having a bit of a stranglehold. They were killing the game. It was kind of just petering out pretty much, even though there were like 15, 20 minutes to go. They were just stifling the game, but we just weren't taking initiative to actually try and keep the ball. And again, poor from Sanchez playing out. Dewsbury Hall's all the way on the left, so like that just leaves that massive gap there. Because Enzo can see Dewsbury Hall's there, you have to tuck in and just drop. Like when the press is beat, just drop and be defensively like secure. And so we have our midfielders being too aggressive. And just to end, we have our midfielders being too aggressive, and then Colwell's being, you can say, a bit too passive. But allowing Kovacic to shoot from there isn't that bad of a thing, because really the keeper should be making a save from there. It's not, if it's De Bruyne, I'm thinking, okay, put a bit more pressure, because we can't let De Bruyne shoot from there. Kovacic from 25 yards, he should not be scoring there, and the keeper has an absolute howler again. Like it's criminal stuff. Criminal stuff.
And as you say, this is the problem that I have with Enzo Fernandez's defensive awareness there. Like, he doesn't need to go chasing after. I know we're playing man-to-man defensively, sure, but you have to protect the middle area of the pitch there. There's absolutely no reason for him to be going to chase after him there, right? Because he's not of no threat in that point, in that position there. Absolutely no threat. Once Kovacic comes into the middle area of the pitch, like honestly, at this point as the captain, I want to see him do everything to sell out to make sure that he doesn't get the shot off. And all he does is like wave his arm at him.
I think he's kind of
dive in there, man. Dive in there.
He's kind of missed it there, because he's probably, see, this is the thing. When you look at his run here now, he's thinking, Go to KDB. You can see it already. Go to KDB, because he's thinking Kovacic is just going to pass it. So he's running. Look, he's trying to think ahead, but he's not thinking about the space here and then Caicedo getting beaten. That's ultimately what fucks us. But Caicedo shouldn't be getting beaten that easily anyway, in my opinion, because that's just too easy. And then here, yeah, you're right. Maybe even at this point, maybe you should have just took him out. To be quite honest, you could take him out there. To be quite honest, or slide or do something. I agree with that there. But once he gets there, Colwill, I mean... I don't know, man. I just expected more from Colwill.
I mean, I get again, like he's backing off or whatever, but like, yeah.
Anyway,
I'm not too mad at Colwill for that. He could have put a foot in, but it's not horrible in Colwill.
No,
that from Enzo, seeing the whole pitch as he can is horrible.
He's not aggressive enough for me though. He kind of has this thing of just like going like this all the time, and I want him to just go like that, hit him. Like don't back off him. Like, and I agree with Josh. He's just incredibly soft there with his body and everything. Like maybe he could have shut that. Maybe he could have just gone in after.
But he stopped the angle to the far post, and he could have went in with, and also then Kovacic could have skipped past him. That's also a possibility. So like, I don't think it's great from Cole. I just feel like it's passive, yes, but the midfield being that wide open is criminal. Like, it should never happen. Caicedo stepping in like that is crazy. But then if Caicedo goes, that's why I was more comfortable with Lavia being next to him, because Lavia next to him, you know that Lavia would cover the spaces behind him and has the mobility to catch up there. Because even if Lavia ended up where Enzo was, I think there's still a chance that he gets, so he can stick a leg out. He's getting in position.
He's definitely going to
actually make at least like cause contact, create a foul, do something. Enzo.
I think he would have slid, personally. I think he would have slid. I think he would have probably
done something. Enzo doesn't have the mobility to do that, which is why he can't afford to get decisions wrong like that in terms of when to step and when to just cover your central midfield partner.
And herein lies the problem. We're going to get into this Enzo thing later, this Enzo argument there, because herein lies the problem for me. But AJ, man, you're back from cussing off people in the chat. What's going on, man? You better not cuss off people in the chat. What's going on, man? It's the game one, bro.
Bro, I'm just defending the channel. People coming on the channel disrespecting the thing. Like, why are you here? You know, just leave. Just go
But he's a
support
mod
somebody
too,
else. Huh?
Yeah, now big up, AJ. I saw it in the chat. Listen, I didn't do that to abrupt and cause everyone to argue in the chat, but I had to make it clear that the fans were poor yesterday. And if you're going to go there against Man City, singing Conor Gallagher songs and murmuring every time we're trying to move the ball forward, so they're getting behind and being the 12th fan, it's not going to help this. It's not going to help this young team. And it was the youngest team fielded, by the way. It was the youngest team fielded in the Premier League. You know, so
yeah.
Can I just sit to that point before we get to player ratings, right? Like this is why I was like saying all preseason, the start of the season is massive. Like we have to beat Wolves, we have to beat Palace, because I said we're probably going to lose to City. Even though I don't like how the game panned out, I feel like we were going to probably lose to them. But it's so big from us that we beat Wolves and we beat Palace because we can see the media narrative on us. Even that overlap shot that they did, their Chelsea fan that they got on there was just there to slander Chelsea, be like, oh my God, they're ruining my club, everything's a mess, blah, blah, blah. When you can see that we have brought in some quality players. Not everybody's coming to improve the first lineup. We can see that. Yes, people don't like the treatment of Gallagher, even Raheem Sterling, Chilwell, all these things. I get all that. It may not look great, and we can certainly question how the club looks, the image, but at the same time, at least we're trying to be ruthless, at least we're trying to do certain things. And right now, like the fans need to try and support these players, because if we start the season off dead again, as much as we like players like Nkunku, Palmer, Gusto, he was poor yesterday, by the way, but a lot of these players who have quality. If we start the season off poor like we did last season, we're gonna go into another horrible run of form. When we play the bigger teams, confidence will be on the floor, and we can't afford that. So fans, get behind these players. Otherwise, boy, we're gonna see a repeat of the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, I don't think that it strictly comes down to how the fans support the team.
Yeah, but they have to try.
No, I'm not even saying that. Like I go to games and I'm cheering regardless. Like, you know, but you know, there was a time where Chelsea fans used to like sing Di Matteo's name like week after week at the I can't even remember what minute it was, but like you know, like that's how we support. We show our displeasure for what's happening at the club level. Right, so the whole we
can maybe afford that when we had Drogba and Lampards and Terry.
It doesn't matter.
It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you have at the club. It's about you showing your displeasure. You're paying your dollars. You're showing your displeasure for whatever reason, right? They're entitled to do that. And to be honest, that shouldn't have been as much as I agree you have to support the team and whatnot. This is the only reason why there's an issue right now is because it was Conor Gallagher they're cheering. Because if they're saying Trevor Chalobah, everyone would be getting behind it right now.
It's not even that they were singing his name and they were singing his name after Lavia made a tackle and sing his name. Cool, whatever. Like you can voice your displeasure and even have planned protests and all these things. Like, cool, do that. But the lack of passion from the fans and actually cheering these players on and trying to support them was horrible. Yeah. So then it sticks up when you're singing Conor Gallagher's name and then they're quiet for like 5 minutes when we're on the ball trying to do stuff.
Bro, the chant of the game for me, came from the Man City fans. Is this the Etihad? I was like, wow.
I thought they said, is this the Emirates? I thought it was saying, is this the Emirates?
I thought it was the Etihad, man, which is funny because they're like basically dissing their old fans, but like at the same time, you know, but either way, it's funny, right? Either way. And like, you know, like that to me is an indictment. Like that's welcome to Stamford Bridge. Like these guys, like every time I'm there, like I feel like you're almost, if you start singing, you start chanting, people are looking at you like, what are you doing? You know, like, you know, like
that's why I never really liked going there, to be honest.
But the fans will say, "Oh, you don't go to any games," you know. It's like, bro, what are you talking about, man? Shut up.
It's the reason why shit's expensive, and then when you go there, the vibe is just whatever, and that's the whole point I was trying to get to, which is that like we're letting all the negativity from media and everything seep onto the actual atmosphere at the stadium, which I just don't like. I mean, you need to try our best to avoid that, but the fans aren't doing their part, and so far the players, they can do more, but they just have to go and beat Wolves and Palace. Like that is non-negotiable.
Yeah, and like at the same time, as much as we can get on the fans or the supporters, the terraces for not supporting the team, you have to give them a reason to support as well, and that's about building a momentum of wins. Like when was the last time we went on a win streak of like 4, 5, 6 games? I can't tell you the last time.
Well, I mean, we did that to end the season.
Well, but, there you go. And then they sacked the manager. That's the other thing too. Like you can't support this project knowing about how many times this thing has been changed and flipped around. Like there's been so much turnover. Like people cannot feel connected to a club that has so much turnover in the last 2 years. It's impossible. Like what are you latching onto at this point in time? You know what I mean? Like, so I don't blame them. Like, of course they feel more attached to like the Conor Gallaghers and the Trevor Chalobahs and whatnot because they've been there from the beginning. You know what I mean? And for me, I mean, when I'm looking at this team, I like how do you latch onto Nkunku? Like Nkunku hasn't played any games for us. How do you latch onto Lavia? As much as I am, like, how do you latch onto Lavia? He's played no games. So the guys that you've been more connected to that have a connection to the club are the ones that they're driving out. You know, like, so I can understand that and I can get it. But at the same time, it's a young season. We have to give this team time.
Let's get through these player ratings because I've got, half hour. Let's go. Right, Sanchez. I'll be quite honest. I'm going to be quick with it. He ain't my number one. He shouldn't be our number one. And I don't think he's good enough to consistently play throughout the season. If he wants to be second fiddle, fine. I do think Jorgensen's going to get a chance on Thursday against the Napkin Serviettes that we're up against. And if he takes his chance there, hopefully maybe Maresca will look at that as a chance to give him a chance to show us. Because the only thing I'll say about Jorgensen is we've actually not really seen, and I'd rather see. We've bought a blooming goalkeeper. Let's see what he's about. Give him, a couple of games and whatever, and see how he gets on. Bought him for a reason. But with Sanchez, I just can't deal with his decision making anymore. I can't. Like, there was moments yesterday. What about that one where he got the ball and just passed it straight to De Bruyne?
and he had an outlet. And he had an outlet in Fofana right to the right of him. Right to the right of him. That's what I'm talking about. You're killing my. You're basically killing my video because I was gonna do that.
The medics in the building as well.
It's just crazy, man.
It's just crazy. I mean, I'm just going to open it up to you guys rather than ask you individually. Like, if anyone wants to say on this, then
listen, I've spoken on the guy enough. I was just going to give him a 3 and keep it moving, man. Honestly, the fact
4.
that he's still our number one is criminal.
I don't think we have a number one, so regardless, he's a 4.
But that's the issue that we didn't go and actually say, hey, we need to sign a number one. We've left it ambiguous. We've left it open again. Like, it's stupid. Sign a number one and keep this guy on the bench or sell him. It's crazy.
I think it was so bad. I can't.
But there's not much to say on that. Honestly, just 3 and 4, whatever you want to give him.
Go on, then.
Yeah, it's a 4.
Correct, then, because it was. I thought he started off quite well. He had Doku in his pocket on the right, and Doku got frustrated and went back to the left, and then he was up against that. What's his name? Salvino. Is it Salvino? Who I thought actually gave him more problems. Was getting him behind. He was getting caught a little bit here and there. I don't know. I don't think it was an absolutely great performance, but at the same time, I don't think it was an atrocious performance from Cucurella. I just think it was just okay. Not about you guys. I think it was just okay.
The City Wingers had a very good game. So,
that's to say it lightly, man. They had a very good
game. So they were frying. Like, Cucurella was getting fried. I'm not gonna lie. Gusto was also getting fried as well.
Yeah, he was.
Their wingers were their best performers yesterday.
I'll say this about Cucurella. Like, in the second wave of the press, I thought that he was good at recycling, at winning the ball back. So, like, when City were forced to go long, for instance, I thought that Cucurella did a good job in the first half, in particular, of intercepting and then regaining possession. And as much as I don't like him getting touch tight, because I just feel like he's so easy to just get dribbled past. In those instances where we're pressing up, I thought that he was actually pretty good at pressing up. I'm going to give him a 5. He wasn't great, but a 5.
Jazza, I agree with you. I think there were moments where he was alone. And this is why you don't play Nkunku on left, because Nkunku doesn't want to be going the other way. He's not that natural winger instinct, Well, no, but what I mean is they don't. But Sterling and Mudryk, they kind of do drop back, didn't they, off the ball? They're kind of more drilled to do that, when we haven't got the ball. With Nkunku, he's more thinking he's still in the middle, just waiting for the ball to come up. Do you know what I mean? That's what it felt like.
He did drop back a few times too. He did. I saw it, but he just doesn't know what to do down there. He doesn't know what to do back there, really. He's not tracking runners into the box, nothing like that. He's just kind of holding a position there. But yeah, anyways, Cucurella is a 5 for me, 4 or 5, somewhere in there.
I think 5 is fine. Yep, 5.
I mean, he grew. I mean, they grew in the game. I've got to say,
he had a good second half.
Yeah. I mean, I came back and I watched the second half live. I had to rewatch the first half, and I think even the first half, you could probably say he could have done more on the goal. But I still think he had quite some good moments, to be honest.
Yeah.
Again, passing out the back was quite good. At times, won a few duels. I thought just okay, which again would be a 5 for me. Because still some moments you could say even on both goals, he can maybe do a bit more. Not that they were mistakes, just he could do more to prevent the goal. But overall, I'd say he was just okay, and I would give him a 5.
Yeah.
I got my
I mean, we didn't. And this is the reason why I'm a little bit disappointed in the result, because I don't think that City gave us a lot to deal with. I mean, it wasn't like they had us under the cosh the entire game. and like our defenders had to like bail us out time and time again. Like it was just 1 and 2 moments, and in those 1 and 2 moments, I thought that Colwell wasn't great, but you know his distribution was pretty good. He released on the left a few times, got Nkunku in space. You know, in possession, I don't think it was bad. I think sometimes he dwelled on the ball a little bit too long when we could have been moving it quicker when we're trying to like break their press and whatnot, and those release passes weren't always accurate. But I don't know. First game, you know, obviously not a comfortable partnership there. I'm gonna give him a 5, 6, somewhere in there.
The only thing though is, you know, we've seen a lot of the same mistakes that we've seen over the preseason. So
True.
You know, even though we say, oh, he had a decent second half and it's the first game, I still think they're making the same mistakes, especially Levi. He has this thing where he's just, and I saw Josh say it too, he's like not the most dominant type of defender, you know, and it's very easy to push him off the ball or just get into any space that you want, just move him out the space. And I think that's something that he needs to work on. It's obviously not going to change within 2 weeks, but it has to change.
Yeah. And maybe that comes with a bit of chemistry, playing next to Fofana a bit more. Obviously, Fofana's been out a very long time as well. So, like, you know, maybe that comes in time. And I think this is why I don't want to be like, and this is what I was saying earlier, it's talking about some positives, but then not negatives, more like just talking about the moments that weren't great more than anything, because I feel like there's some areas that we need to allow to see to gel, even though I'm not the biggest fan of our defense, and see what happens, you know. But with Wesley Fofana, I thought he grew into the game, to be quite honest with you. He had some bad moments, don't get me wrong, with the goals, but he drove. Do you know what? The only thing that gets me a little with him, and I think it's just a part of his game, he sometimes has a habit of just going to a ball and forgetting about his position. And he'll just like, he'll go into a tackle. Sometimes he'll win them and it look really good. Sometimes he won't give a foul, or he get beaten. And then there's just this massive gap behind him. And then we get caught a bit. And it's just, he's got a temperament to do that, which I think is just a part of his game. But he wasn't bad yesterday. I wouldn't say he was bad overall.
He had some bad moments, to be honest.
Yeah.
I feel like while I'm saying with Colwell, there was, like I say, his passing was good. He had some good interventions at the back. But Fofana, I thought it was less so. Like there was one really good one in the second half where Colwell did get caught actually stepping out, and he covered him well. With one of like a low cross, but no, otherwise just not great from Fofana. And then obviously I look at the goal. I mean, his positioning is way off. Whether or not, obviously, with the conversation with Crouch, it affects Colwell. Fofana has no business being that far away from Banana at that point, so that was poor. And again, I just look at the back pairing, and it's like, okay, I would like Levi to be next to a leader who can like be the more aggressive one to control the back line, do all those things. But I look at Fofana, I feel like he almost needs the same thing as well. So it's like we just have a lot of secondary CBs. We haven't got like a main guy, which again, did we address it with the 100 million odd that we spent this summer? No, we signed Tosin for free. So yeah, man.
He's the leader, mate.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, so like I have a lot of time for Fofana. I think that he's gonna be good for us. He just needs repetition. He needs matches, right? He needs games.
How long is that though?
But with that, I don't think we're gonna see I don't think we're gonna see the best of Fofana till maybe November, to be honest. You know,
Jesus
to be honest.
I said 6 months. I said 6 months because we look how long it took Van Dijk coming back from his injury to be back at his best. Like,
that's a good point. But he was like a little bit further on in his career though, so it's different, right? Like when you're older and you're coming back from a serious injury. But regardless, it could be longer. I don't know, but I'm saying this right now. He didn't have a good game yesterday. Let's just be real. Nah. Didn't win a lot of his duels. I think that the only thing that I liked about his game yesterday was he's aggressive in the press, and he has the makeup speed that when he's going, he can come back and still be in position. But he didn't win a lot of those duels. So like the times where he was pressing up and basically compromising the back line, we didn't get caught out a lot, but there's a danger there. Like if he continues to play that aggressively, where we can get caught up, because right next to him, and I'm sure we'll get into it, like Malo Gusto was horrific, just horrific.
Oh boy,
you know what I mean? Like, that was offensively, defensively, he was horrible. But if I'm going to give like a Fofana a number, I'd say he was probably like a 4 to me.
If Cole was a 5, Fofana was definitely a 4.
Yeah,
I hear that.
Yeah,
but Malagusto, it's unusual because I'm so used to I rate him very highly. I think we all do. I think we can see that there's a very good talent in there, and I think he sets the levels himself. But yesterday he did just look a little bit off it for me. And listen, he got forward quite well a couple of times, but his final third crossing was awful. Didn't beat the first defender when we were in good dangerous moments where I thought we could do better. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't really seen him get cooked that much in a while. Like in a minute, like he struggled. He just struggled, like usually he's quite strong, quick, he deals with what's going on. And I don't know, maybe that just comes with a bit of more fitness. I don't know, more time in this system. I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe he's still trying to find himself as well. And this was just maybe a game too early because it's Man City and not someone like Ipswich at home, for example, where you can build minutes, right? And actually build up to your actual full fitness levels. But he wasn't at it. And his touches were a bit off as well in the game. He was taking some really dodgy touches, some decision makings. I saw him on the ball as well, where he gets the ball and it's like, go forward with it. And he's cutting it across. And I'm like, come on, Gusto, like you're better than this. Come on. But yeah, I'd probably say a 3. To be quite honest, I wasn't that impressed with it. Maybe a 2 if he's going to go that harsh on him. But yeah.
I'd say 2. Go ahead, AJ. Sorry.
To him some bail. He was playing against one of the better wingers in the league, but definitely we've seen Malo, lock up very good players. So he definitely was off his game. I don't know if it's fitness, like you said, or just the game yesterday, but it wasn't the normal Malo, but he was getting fried like Nomadic's.
It's not even so much just the defensive aspect of the game. Like again, and this is part of the video, my match review, that this is going to be part of it. It's just those release passes. Like he wasn't making very good decisions in possession either, like turning over the ball over and over and over. Like I think he got dispossessed like in double digits. Like he wasn't as bad as Enzo, but like certainly, when you're in possession and you have Malo Gusto on the ball, you expect him to be making better decisions on the ball, and he was just making the wrong one time and time again. That was the issue. Like obviously defensively, he's going to have his problems with somebody like Doku or even Savinho when he came over on that side. There's going to be issues there because these are good footballers. But what I expect him to be good at and what I expect him to be, to at least like clap back out of them, I was like putting in a decent cross, recognizing runs for players, all these types of things is where he was poor for me. So yeah, for me, he was one of the poor performers on the pitch. Like if we're thinking about the poorest performer and the poorest performer is Gusto, he's got to be the lowest score for me. So I don't know if there's somebody lower than him, but 2, 1, 2, somewhere in there, that's where he ranks for me because he didn't give us anything defensively, and offensively he was poor. Transition, he was poor. So if he's the lowest mark for me, like I'd say 2 or 1, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I see it the same. To be honest, again, if I didn't like Gusto, I'd be shouting for a 0 because I like him. I might just be able to give him a 1. Like it was bad. It was really bad. And again, you can have troubles with a winger like Doku, getting past him on, like it can happen, but to the degree that happened is just not acceptable. And if Doku had actual end products, boy, it would be exposed even more because the amount of times he would get past Gusto and then waste it. Gusto kind of caught life there, but that wasn't good. Again, decision making with the passing was not good. Final third, when he actually got into positions to do something, it was just awful. And you're like, this isn't the Gusto we're even seeing in pre-season, let alone last season. So it didn't really make sense that he would have a game like this. But again, these guys are humans as much as they are like elite footballers at the elite stage. They are still human, so they can have off days. It is what it is. So yeah, I'll give him a 1. I'm not going to hold it too tough to him. I'm just saying, again, with all of these players, Wolves and Crystal Palace, I'm not even concerned about Conference League. Wolves and Crystal Palace win and win well. That is a must. And Gusto has to turn up for those games.
Romeo Lavia. He's just very press resistant. I like what he offers. He understands the role well. I did say, though, at the beginning, I thought him and Caicedo's positions were too, and I wanted him to do a little bit more with the ball once they received it. And I mean moving forward with it. And that happened as the game went on. Don't get me wrong, especially with Romeo Lavia more so. But he was just very tidy, very good, very clean, press resistant, get stuck in. Even when we were higher up the pitch and we lost the ball, he was trying to win it back quickly. He went into tackles with Caicedo and trying to get the ball up further up the pitch so that we didn't get caught. I like this. Lavia's, he's turning up, right? He's turning up and he has to turn up. It's game 1. Not getting overexcited. It's game 1 at the moment. There's still a lot to see. I want him to keep fit. I think rotation is going to be key with him. I do worry a little bit with the injuries with him and Nkunku and stuff. We have to be careful. But from what we see of him and how he played the game, it's just vintage him, wasn't it? Really, in that role, his role that he's comfortable in doing as well. So comfortable, good on the ball, progressive, winning tackles, playing balls quickly in the middle. You know, his variety of passing range is amazing. Really is. I just wanted a little bit more. I'll be quite honest, yeah, not just him, but I think with the midfield, I just wanted them to be a little bit more. There was times where the attackers were trying to get in behind because they were playing a high line City. And I wanted him to just play that ball through. You know, like we've seen Navi do in pre-season. He plays that ball, didn't he? Right through the middle of it when they make it. We were a little bit more reserved, I felt, when we were trying to build up. When I wanted us to be a bit more bang, straight through the middle when we got in, when we beat one or two of their midfielders. But listen.
Yeah.
But you know why, though?
I see that.
It's the setup. You know, we ran with the 3 central midfielders instead of having that extra attacking player in the half space. And that's why, you know, you lose that impetus in terms of getting the ball and turning and going forward.
Your apologies, please. Your disrespect. What do you mean? What was I disrespecting? What is she waffling about? Go on, guys. What are you saying?
So let AJ finish in it.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, you know, first of all, on Lavia, he was our best player yesterday. He's been our best player since preseason started. I don't know why he came off the field. You know, I don't know if there was an explanation.
You got to protect him. He looked tired when he came off. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
he looked tired.
If he looked tired, then fine. You know, but you do see the momentum change when he came off the field, and Nkunku. I think our 2 best players, you know, or over the preseason, came off the field early, and I think that's kind of, you know, I mean, I guess managers got to make tough decisions, you know, and there's other reasons why that we don't have the info for, but once they came off the field, you know, I don't think we helped ourselves to try and get back in the game. I think other players could have came off the field, like Enzo. You know, I'm a big Enzo fan, you know, but I do think it was his time to come off the field. So I do think Lavia, he performed top, and he did his thing. You know, I just wish he could have played longer.
Yeah. You guys know how I feel. Like I changed my name for a reason, right? Like this guy, he's our most complete midfielder. He's our most complete midfielder, and
I agree.
I'm a firm believer that this is the player that we should be building our midfield around. Like I think that he has the lot, and you know, it's just like AJ said. Like when he came off, the whole stability in that midfield was completely destabilized. Completely, you know, and it's not because we went all guns blazing to go try and search for a goal. It's because we just didn't have that like reassuring presence in the back. And you know, we're going to get into the 2 midfielders who I thought both had 4 games, but like as far as Lavia goes, his press resistance, his ability to get on the ball, like his stature, his physicality and stuff, like to get on the ball, get on the half turn and get into space every time. Like, and keep in mind that I did not like Sanchez's distribution this entire game. But every time he played it into Lavia in a dangerous position, Lavia was able to orchestrate what the next move was because he's just so composed on the ball. You know what I mean? So he to me is the most complete midfielder we have, and without doubt was the man of the match. You know, yes, the game changed when he came off, and yes, you know, if we have to watch, basically wrap him in cotton wool for the next 2-3 months because you know, we cannot have another reoccurrence of injuries with this guy because he's very important to that midfield right now. The questions we're going to have to ask ourselves as we get further on in this match review is the elephant in the room, like who comes out in that midfield? Because right now, Lavia is not the guy's coming out for me. He's the most complete. I give him a 7, 8, somewhere in there.
Yeah, for me,
but we'll move. Go on.
We'll get on to that. But with Lavia, for me, I was going to give him an 8. I was very, very impressed. Even like I've got the game on in the background, and the amount of times he's winning the ball back, doing things that our other midfielders aren't doing, is very impressive. Very impressive. And I was aware of how good he was. Maybe I wasn't as high on him as Couch because I think that's quite hard. Because Couch maybe thinks he's better than Busquets. But I mean, listen, how he's been playing. Like you can't knock it. I mean, I knew he was good, but again, what he's been doing in preseason, again, straight to it, like. Just straight to it, understanding what the manager wants and performing. And again, physically looking very much up to what we're going to need in the Premier League. So very impressed. And then to do it straight away, game week 1 against Man City and have that performance, I'm like, you know
Trust me.
He is, I didn't think I would be talking about, is this guy going to be more complete and like looking better than Caicedo and Enzo? And so far, he's looking like it. Now, he still needs to go and do it for weeks or months of the season. But right now, I'm not taking him out of the team at all. And yeah, man, it's almost disappointing that we're looking at him and saying, wow, he's actually going to be looking like he's clear of Enzo and Caicedo, which is a bit mad. But no, just for Lavia, again, I'm very happy for him that he's been able to come into the team and have this impact straight away. It's massive for us, the squad depth, and for him as well, because he spent obviously quite a bit of money on him. So yeah, 8 out of 10, and it's looking very good for Lavia. It's looking very good.
I don't think it's about him being clear. I think a lot of what we said last season was more about how we needed that DM, that someone that could like understand the role and was just very press resistant. And I'm not saying Caicedo isn't, because he is, but I just think his game is a lot different to the way that Lavia plays it. And when Lavia plays it, he's more in tune with what he needs to do when he's in that role, if that makes sense. Because he's grown up in that. That's his role. He plays that position and he's very good at it. You know, and you see the difference. And this is why it's very key. Like even last season when we were saying, can you imagine if we had Lavia just coming in now in these games where we could like, you know, control games better in the midfield and stuff, because that was something we knew that he could do, you know. The other two for me are, let's go to it anyway.
Let's go to Caicedo, because even onto just
to finish up on Lavia.
I want to make a point about Caicedo, but I'll let you make your.
Let me just finish up on Lavia too. It's not like, keep in mind, like he hasn't played a lot of football because he was injured versus when he played at Southampton, and then he was pretty much injured he was injured all season last year. So what we're seeing from this guy is a natural ability. It's not like, because like most guys, when they're coming back from injury, take a while to get back up to speed. You know, the structure of the game. Like he has a natural ability. His instincts on the ball are incredible. So this is what I'm seeing, why I think that he's the most complete midfielder. Because again, those guys have all been playing more than him, and they should be more comfortable in their roles. Yeah. Whereas Lavia just comes back into the game, and you're like, wow, we've been missing this guy the whole time. You know what I mean? Like he has never seen him under Poch, though, have we? That's the only thing.
We never saw him under Poch. That's the only thing.
Would have liked to see him under Poch, to be honest. Would have liked to.
But yeah, just a point I want to make on Caicedo, because obviously, Jem, you were saying a few things which I slightly disagreed with, and I feel like just for me with Caicedo, we just need to, like, what I need Chelsea fans to stop doing is talking about him as if this isn't his natural position, that he doesn't play there, and if he needs to play somewhere different. Like for me, like Caicedo, we've been seeing on the Poch, that's where he's been playing for most of his senior career, certainly in English football. That's where he was playing for Brighton. That's where he was playing, and even now, now he's playing alongside another kind of destroyer / defensive midfielder with Lavia. So like we should be seeing more of his game, because a lot of his game is also sending those passes over the top, trying to break lines, which, Jem, again, you mentioned that you weren't seeing our midfielders do enough of, but Caicedo was actually the one trying to do that the most, and a lot of them weren't coming off, which, again, I have to look at Caicedo and say, you're just having an off game with your passing. Again, some worked, and Jackson was a million miles offside, which we will get onto, but again, a lot of them, there were times to play the pass and he wasn't playing it, or he was overhitting it and it wasn't good enough. And again, defensively, where I feel like Caicedo, you need to be A1, and you need to be one. You need to be showing that you're one of the top ball winners in our team, because that's something that we lack, is consistent ball winners. Yeah. Where I thought Caicedo was that, I'm not seeing enough of that. I'm seeing you be late to challenges, getting bypass, making silly fouls where you could have actually won the ball. And it's like, that is not what we paid 115 freaking million for. Like, I like Caicedo. I do like Caicedo. He had a very good end to last season, but in the big games, I want to be seeing you dominate these games. And I've not really been seeing that. And again, this was a good chance to set yourself and do that. And he hasn't done that now. He hasn't had as much of a preseason as everybody else. I'll admit that. And again, that's what I'm saying. For all these guys, Wolves and Palace, I need to see it. But this game, I did not see enough. So I would probably give him a 5, maybe even a 4. It has to be a 4, actually. It has to be a 4. I was not impressed by Caicedo at all.
Yeah, you basically stole my thunder there, because I agree with everything you said there. Mainly, again, like obviously the ball movement and whatnot, he needs to be better at just like picking passes and understanding runs and whatnot. But defensively is where I'm banking on this guy being a stalwart for us. Like he has no problem with understanding when to go in and snap in on challenges. He's just late. Every time, like he's just late going in on challenges, and it's killing me. Like the amount of times that he makes a rash challenge and stuff like that. Like he feels to me like he's a red card waiting to happen every time he's on the pitch, because he's just all over the place, like trying to win tackles in a fashion that we grew accustomed to in Conte. But Conte was just more composed when he went in on the challenges and stuff like that. You know, granted he did get fouled. He did foul a lot, but like it's never as alarming as when you see like Caicedo going on challenges. So I'm just worried about this guy because, the price tag is high and he has to be like in a game like against Man City when you're going up against like Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and Kovacic, not an easy trio to go up against. Obviously, probably he'll have easier games for sure. But he has to be asserting himself and showing that he belongs amongst those top midfielders. We paid 150 million for this guy, and I've yet to see one game where he's played against a top midfield and not been a liability in there. Like it's a problem right now. It's early jugglings for sure, but it's not any different from what we seen last year, which is the problem. He's just too.
Yeah, but again, playing with Lavia maybe another thing. Chemistry, I don't know. There's other thing. The other thing we have to bear in mind here is the manager's requirements in the system and the positionals and where you need to be and things like that. So I'm slightly hesitant on like digging at them straight at the moment. Even though I agree with what you're saying, I'm kind of still waiting to allow them the time to adapt, learn, understand where it is they need to be in each time of the position, on the pitch, depending on where the ball is and where we are in the game and things like that. And I actually think Caicedo out of the three of them was the worst, but that's and there's a reason behind that. And it was purely because he was actually playing more in a natural position than the other one, which we're gonna slate right now. And I know it, and I'm ready for it because I agree. Right?
What do you mean you're ready for it? What do you mean you're ready for it? What are you ready for? What do you mean you're ready for it?
I'm ready to.
Oh, because Enzo's your boy, so you're ready to defend him.
No, he's not my boy.
What do you mean you're ready for it, though? I don't get it.
I'm ready to have this discussion. No, I mean, which I'm ready to have discussion.
You should be. Like, just like how you're ready to have a discussion about Lavia, you're ready to have a discussion about Caicedo, ready to have a discussion. It's the same. Like, it doesn't change for me, whoever is on the pitch.
My issue with Caicedo staying on him was that I felt he was too close to Lavia earlier on in the game when I wanted him to. And this is, again, what I said earlier on about the midfield yesterday. I didn't mind all three of them playing. I know character it doesn't work, okay? It's how they were utilised in the game for me. Because what I would have done if I were to play the three of them is I would have said, Lavia, this is you. Caicedo, you're right 8. Enzo, you're left 8. You're not a 10. You're not running in the boxes trying to get headers and score goals and whatever. This is you guys moving like that. That's what I would have done. And when we're off the ball, you cover each other. So if Caicedo gets beat, you move across and whatever. I don't want to get too tactical about it, but I would have played it in that way is what I would have done. In not in the way of 2 holding, sitting, and then Enzo just, God knows, up there trying to be calm.
But that's his setup, though. We played a 3-2-4-1.
That was his setup. But what I'm saying is, again, it was also probably, it may have been, and I think a lot of what we saw yesterday was experimenting as well. Because he's probably seen, what can I do? Can we play Enzo there and do that? Did it work? Maybe not. Maybe we'll do it different. This is what I want to see with Maresca. Has he got that tactical awareness and adaptation to be able to change
you're basically talking about a 6 and 2 8s, where he's playing with if we're not inverting one of the fullbacks like he's done in the past, we're playing with 2 sitting 6s in there because you need that stability, especially against a team like Man City who
no, I agree.
And even beyond that, let's not even get into like how we want to play offensively. If we would have played with 2 8s and a 6, the way we weren't pressing the ball very effectively. There's a couple of times where we kind of caught them or whatever, but like they had no pressure on them, absolutely no pressure on them building up from the back. Like Gvardiol had no pressure whatsoever, right? So if you now play that way and you're trying to play with more 8s and whatnot, you're leaving that midfield exposed for what they do well.
Is what I'm saying. In tangent, this is where I think it's down to instruction again, because you can still play 2 8s and still make sure that you're looking after Lavia. You just need to be a bit more savvy with your positionings, because if you're going like that together, and I'm not saying they're both flying up the pitch and doing what Enzo was doing yesterday and leaving Lavia on his own in the middle, like having to deal with De Bruyne and Silva and whatever. But there's got to be this balance where they kind of go like that, if that makes sense, together. If the ball's going one way, then down the right, and Caicedo's bobbing forward, maybe Enzo tucks in a bit or saying. Like, I don't want to get too tactical about it, but what I'm saying is I would have utilized it maybe a little bit different to what he did yesterday, personally. And I think it can work, but it's just whether he will do something like that, or if he's just going to say, no, this is how we want to play, a 2 pivot, And if we do play an Enzo, which hopefully I would never see again, to be quite honest, in a blimmin' 10 role, this is what I want to do. It's going to work, which is what we're going to find out. But moving away from Caicedo, because we're going to be here all day, otherwise I can feel it. Don's here as well. Come on then, let's talk about Enzo. Let's talk about Enzo Fernandez. Don
came right for the main event.
He came for the main event. What are you saying, Don? How are you?
What you saying, man? Oh, I just come off a show. I'm not here for long because I've got to get back to work. But yeah, I'm seeing Enzo Fernandez again, just being a massive talking point on the timeline. And to be honest with you, it's just boring. I'm honestly bored of it. You know, when it comes to Enzo, people obviously just want the guy to fail. People have made up their mind about him when it comes to rivals, when it comes to Chelsea fans as well. And with rivals, they're very disingenuous because a lot. First of
all, I don't care about the rivals. Let's just put that aside. Like the rivals doesn't matter. Let's talk about him as a footballer.
Neither do I. I'm just giving a little backstory before I give my take on Enzo, because I actually don't think Enzo was that bad yesterday, in all honesty. First of all, when he was playing in that 10, you know, he's not a 10. So I am not gonna expect things from him that I expect from Palmer in the 10. Right? Yeah. Same way if Levi Cole was playing at left back, I'm not going to cook him playing there because I know he can't do it. You know what I'm trying to say? And even though he was playing in that 10, I was still seeing Enzo making some very good passes, bro, in certain points. But we know that Enzo is not comfortable in between the lines, bro. Yeah, his brain doesn't think quick enough like a Palmer, like a Maddison in that position, like a Odegaard in that position, because he is not a 10. And when he got moved into the deeper role in the second half, bro, he was looking good. He was looking very good, bro. He was switching the play. He was dictating the game. I was seeing on the terrace today, Mo shouting about Enzo because he hates Enzo regardless. Yeah, he just wanted to crash it on him. Started talking about he kept giving the ball away, and I was like, bro, I don't remember Enzo giving the ball away frequently. So I went and checked it. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he gave away the ball a lot.
What? No. I went and checked it, bro. 85%.
Not leading to bad chances.
85%. He made 46 passes out of 54. Yeah. 5 of his long range passes he made out of 6. Yeah. I wasn't looking at a guy that
the long range was good.
The long range was good. It was the short range passes that were the problem.
Overall, the problem with Enzo, yes, he gave it away a few times, but what I'm saying is, in the 90 minutes in the game, it wasn't to the point where I'm like, oh, every time he gets the ball, he keeps giving it away. Every time he gets the ball, he keeps giving it away. I wasn't looking at him like that. Yeah, I've seen that from players like Gallagher in the past. I wasn't really getting that from Enzo. But like I said, it's a boring agenda at this point.
That's fine. Can I come in on this part, right? So if we're talking about just Enzo's game in terms of his passing and that, like I agree with most of what you're saying. There were a few passes where I'm like, Enzo, like, this is your game, you need to do better, right? But a few misplaced passes that you could have done better with, cool. Obviously, you make mention of the fact that in the number 10 position, he's not as comfortable receiving between the lines, which he can definitely do better, right? He's also been doing that for most of pre-season, so I want to see an evolution, at least a bit. I want to see that improve more.
He hasn't been playing as a 10 in pre-season. He's
been playing a lot as a high 8 in like the 3-4-2-1. So like a lot of the same positions that you pick up in a 10. So it's a little bit similar. But again, that's just one side of the game. We're talking about on the ball and receiving the ball in pockets. Okay, there's the second part of the game which I need to make mention of, which I talked to you about, even you, Don, before the game, about, listen, if there's not Rodri there, cool. It's still Kovacic that's going to be in the DM. We need him to be on his arse. Same way that Gallagher was on Rodri, Enzo needs to do a similar job. And was he doing that job? No. The one time in the first half when he actually pinched it off of him and Nkunku pressed him well, that led to the Jackson offside goal, which again, Jackson, we'll talk about Jackson and why the hell he's offside there, crazy. But that was the one time we actually got close to Kovacic. Other than that, Kovacic was getting the ball so easy, just being able to turn, run, drive, find Rico Lukes, who was inverted, and it's just an easy game for Kovacic. So that part of Enzo's game in the 10, I don't like that at all. And then the defensive part of the game, Enzo Fernandez, not good enough. Not good enough. Again, look at the second goal. The fact that he stepped in when you see Caicedo's already rushing in, which Caicedo probably shouldn't have done. But when your midfield partner is rushing in like that and you're the pivot, you have to cover him. But he's there pressing the third man in midfield. And Kovacic, we know Kovacic likes to drive. I mean, mentioned of it before the game. Kovacic likes to drive. We have to be aware of that. He didn't do that job when he was in the 10, and he moved back to the 6, and he didn't do that job either. So again, even watching the game, the amount of times he was getting bypassed, nutmegged by Rico Lewis, that is not good enough for the guy who's one of our most expensive players, one of the most important players, the guy who's literally the captain right now of the club.
I get. He's got to do more. I get all of that, yeah. But at the end of the day, he is not a destroyer, bro. We know he's not a destroyer.
What is he then? Tell me what he is. Tell me what he is.
Enzo's strengths are on the ball, bro.
Okay.
They're on the ball.
No, but if he's gonna play, if he's gonna play in that position, he has to.
Hold on.
I gotta. If he's gonna play in that position, he has to be able to make a tackle.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Because Kovacic is breaking up play good for City. Kovacic is breaking up play good for City. So Enzo's got to do it for us.
Let me finish what I'm saying because you lot are jumping down my throat. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Big pause on that, my bro. Big pause.
What I'm saying is, what I'm saying with Enzo, Enzo isn't the greatest off the ball, and he's not the biggest bum off the ball. If you go watch that game back, the goal back that Kovacic scored, bro, Kovacic is one of the most press-resistant players in the fucking league. He did Caicedo first. Yeah, he did up Caicedo, and then he quickly changed direction when Enzo tried to go in, and he done Enzo as well.
He shouldn't have been going in though.
Kovacic is doing that.
Bro, it's not about like the tackle.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying. Let me finish, bro. Kovacic,
guy. The only thing is, it's not about him going in though. It wasn't about him going in.
Let me finish what I'm saying, bro. Let me finish what I'm saying, bro. Kovacic is doing that exact same thing to about 95% of midfielders in the league. That's my point. That's the point that I'm making over here. He is, bro. He is doing that to most midfielders in the league.
I agree with Don that Kovacic is very difficult to defend. But once you see one player get beat like Caicedo, Enzo has to be able to either shuffle him to a certain direction or make the tackle. He can't let him walk past him as well. That's
the difference. The difference is it's not about his ability to like make the tackle there. It's his awareness, defensive awareness there. When he sees Caicedo go in to challenge Kovacic, he needs to drop into the middle and hold up to take that, occupy that space.
Yes,
that's the problem. He went chasing after Kevin De Bruyne, and then when he realized that he left it open, he came back in, and then it was too late. But at that point, he needs to at least put in a tackle, something. Don't just arm tackle him.
You
said arm tackle him.
Half the time you won't even need to make a tackle if you're in the right position.
You just said it though. You just said it. I wasn't looking at Enzo. I wasn't looking at Enzo's positioning there as being off. Enzo was covering KDB because if he left KDB. What do you mean he shouldn't? Because if Kovacic, if Kovacic skipped past Caicedo and decided to just pop it off to KDB could have just banged it in. KDB could have just.
That's not the case because as a midfielder, you have to know when to like screen and just delay. You have to delay play and allow for Dewsbury to get back in. Allow for Caicedo to get back in.
You're talking about
Enzo sold himself.
This is where you guys are not being realistic now. Kovacic does about 65 actions in the space of 5 seconds, bro. That's how he is as a player. Yeah.
Oh
he skipped past Caicedo. Enzo was marking KDB, and at that point, he tried to cover for Caicedo after covering KDB, and he wasn't able to, bro. Because
we're already saying that he made a mistake. But the point when you're saying he tried to cover, we're saying he already made a mistake before that by being too close.
Exactly.
I don't think you can say Caicedo's going in.
What you're saying is you don't wanted him to leave KDB by himself. You wanted him to leave KDB by himself.
Yeah, because it was like 45 yards from goal. It was 45 yards from goal. It's fine. That was fine at that point, but you're letting Kovacic go past you and then get 25 yards from goal. That's a big issue.
You don't need to watch the game. You don't need to watch the
goal back. We literally spent like 2 minutes going back through that play in detail. Watched it back 7 or 8 times. Like we can see where Caicedo made a mistake. We can see where obviously we gave the ball away in the first place, which is a bad mistake. But then Enzo, at that point, you have to cover your midfield partner. You can't just go and get a 40 be in a position where you get beat as well. Because then both of them getting beat on the same line means your back four is literally fucked. Like they're fucked because they have Kovacic driving at them, and they're worrying about where's Haaland, where's the wingers.
Caicedo who made the first mistake, and then Enzo did not help out with the mistake, and that's the problem. The pivot, they got to work together. Somebody has to cover the other one.
And that's why I was more comfortable when Lavia was on the pitch, because Lavia would have covered that. And even if he made the mistake of getting drawn in, Lavia has the mobility and the physicality to at least do more to get back in. But I don't think he would have made the mistake of getting drawn in like he did, because it didn't happen in the first half. Because he was doing the same steps first half as well.
Lavia off the ball is a lot better. It's a lot better than Enzo. It's a lot better than Enzo, you know. But I don't look at that and think, oh my god, that's an absolute howler from Enzo. I don't look at that.
Nobody's saying that. Nobody once said that. Nobody once said that. What we're talking about is defensive awareness. He doesn't have the defensive awareness to know. Can I speak on Enzo now? Is that okay? Am I allowed to do this?
I just think we didn't speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to say, we didn't speak this long on any other player about that goal other than Enzo, which is that the only thing we're talking about in regards to Enzo, the goal?
No, we spoke on Caicedo. We said Caicedo did not done what he done. We spoke a lot on Sanchez and Fofana earlier, but I was speaking about Enzo. So we have to speak on Enzo.
Yeah, no, that's
we can't avoid conversations because they're tough. Like we have to talk on the guy, especially because he's vice captain.
Enzo. This has happened with Enzo multiple times. That's why we're going so hard with it. It's not like it just happened yesterday and it was like, okay, we're gonna move on. If he wants to play in the midfield, and again, we all recognize he's better as a deeper midfielder, but you also have to do the defensive side of the game, and it has to be better. He's a year older with us. Like, it has to just be better. We got to hold him to a standard at some point.
And just quickly before Couch comes in to talk about I want to just say like the conversation going to lead towards we're going to have to play 2 of these 3 because we're not going to be playing City every week. Against Wolves and Palace, we can afford to just play 2. And that's why the conversation on Enzo defensively, it needs to be looked at because obviously we know Lavia and Caicedo naturally offer more there. So Enzo coming in and at times obviously dictating play and passing more, which was better. And he's the best of those guys in terms of the passing. Is that enough to offset what he does defensively? That's what we have to talk about.
Well, if you're getting him involved as much as you need to, then he's going to dictate games, isn't he, from a deeper position. And I keep saying to you guys that his best position is playing off the left a bit deeper, not playing in a 10 role where Nkunku and Palmer are meant to be playing, which is what we saw yesterday. So the thing is,
I'll let you guys finish.
And then we'll talk.
What's so crazy about this, Jim? Yeah, bro, because I had a perfect view while I was sitting. Yeah, Kovacic, bro, was just gliding on the pitch, bro. He was just gliding on the pitch. He is one of the most press resistant players in the league. What he did yesterday to score that goal was just individual brilliance, bro. It was individual brilliance. Yes, I know you can say Caicedo should have done better, Enzo should have done better, but it's not a stick to be beating them with. When I'm looking at that phase of play in that moment there, yeah, I'm looking more at Caicedo, if anything, because I'm telling you now, if anyhow Enzo was just there standing next to Caicedo and Kovacic decided to just pop off the ball and now there's all this space, he'd be like, oh, why was Enzo not with his man? Why was he not with his man? He wouldn't be able to win either way. I literally, that goal happened so quickly, bro. I was watching it happen right in front of me, yeah? It happened so quickly. It was individual bit of brilliance, bro. And Kovacic has that in his locker. We're not going to be facing guys like Kovacic every single week.
Was it more brilliant or was there a mistake?
Bro, I'm sorry.
Was it more brilliant?
That was not easy to defend.
I feel like we talked on the goal, and if I do disagree with what Don's saying, but I feel like we should just let Couch come in and have his say. Because we're going to be on Enzo all day.
I need to go, guys, and soon as well. So
honestly, just move on. I don't even need to speak on Enzo. There'll be more opportunities for me to do that. Just move on.
I hope they're not.
That just sounds like you want to dig in moving forward, which is weird. But
no, it's just more to do. There's more to talk about.
Okay, well, like I said, it's game 1. We need to calm down a bit. Anyway, we move. Nkunku. Talk about Nkunku then, because I thought he was very. He had good touches here and there and got involved. Maybe could have had a penalty when he had that chance when Jackson played him through and he was 1-on-1. I wanted him to use his left foot there. He kind of cut inside on too many players. He should have maybe shimmied to his left and just maybe do something a bit different. But other than that, again, not as involved enough as I want him to be, but probably because we've playing him on the left, which we haven't done all pre-season, when we should have just played him in his position. But then doing that, maybe he would have just been a little bit more attackive, and maybe he just didn't want to do that. So I can't be too angry about what he wants to do because he's still experimenting. At the same time, I hope he realizes maybe Nkunku needs to go where he's more effective and not play him off the left as much, because I didn't really like him out there that much, guys. I'm not going to lie. He was not involved.
If
he's qualities, you need him involved. You need him involved.
I don't know if it's a problem. Maybe I'll just speak on this since I didn't really get to it in on Enzo. I'm just going to spend some time on Nkunku because I don't know if the problem was where he was positioned on the pitch as much as the opponent, right? Because I think because we're using him as the release, because we're trying to catch them in transition, and Nkunku was the guy that we're using as the release for the most part, I felt like he had an ineffectual game, because if he were more central, he's getting on the ball a little bit more. He's the guy that is, getting on the end of those crosses as opposed to the guy that's delivering them. And that's the problem that I had. Like, I don't think that I have a problem with him playing off the left. I think he can actually do a good job there when we have more possession and we can utilize him more effectively in the final third. I just felt like, for the most part, what we did was we used him as the release on the left, he got the ball. He was looking to cut it back inside to one of our 8s, our 10s, or even to Cole Palmer or whatever. And for me, I want to see him be the guy that's in the box receiving those passes as opposed to delivering them. So, I don't think that he had a bad game. I just think that he was ineffectual because of the way he was utilized throughout the game. So, the guy like that needs to be the guy that we're getting the ball to in the box. And
I agree.
If we're not doing that, he's not going to be the most effective. So yeah, I'd give him about a 6, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else got?
I'd probably give him a 5, and I feel like what I have more to say on him is to do with Maresca and the decision to play him there, and then also to then take him off rather than playing where he was for most of the preseason. So I didn't really like that. But I feel like Nkunku in certain games can be effective on the wing. This just wasn't really that, and the moments that he did have, he could have done a little bit more with. So I'll probably give him a 5 because he only played about 55 minutes, and that was it. So yeah, not much to really say on Nkunku.
Cool. Anyone else, or are we moving on? Move on from him? There's not much to really say, is there?
We just got to commit. We have to commit to him playing centrally. We have to.
Yeah.
100%.
Which means we're going to have to lose a midfielder, which I'm fine with as well.
It is what it is, man. I'm sick and tired of us not blessing our best players. Like, our best players need to be tailored to, and just do it. Like, fuck
And
it.
it's gonna get peak when Neto gets up to speed as well, because Neto's gonna start on that left.
Yep.
It's gonna get peak
Oh, yeah.
in that midfield.
100%. Where the hell is where is he? Where's Cold? Can't see Cold anywhere. Am I blind? Cold, where are you? There you are.
Same like yesterday.
Is he getting very quick? Like, is there an issue with playing Cole Palmer on the right for you guys?
No.
Because
In this system,
yeah, I mean,
in this system, there might be an issue. There might be. I'm not sure yet. It's still early, but there might be.
I think it's more against who though, because against City, with how we have to play against them, it's just a bit tricky. And to be fair, he did have enough chances to do stuff. He just had an off game for me, which comes down to obviously lack of preseason, trying to get minutes and all these things. So I can give him time and not be too mad at him dropping what I think for me is probably a 4 out of 10 for him. But I'm not too stressed about that. I just look at it and look at that game and feel like he needs to at some point be in the 10 and be consistently there to get involved, because I think he can do more of the work off the ball that we saw from like a Gallagher in the 10 last season, where he was actually making it difficult for our Rodri. I feel like at times when it was Enzo that he didn't do enough to make it difficult for Kovacic. If Nkunku played there while we want him to be there on the ball, off the ball, I don't know if he could do that. Palmer, I still feel like does enough of the work off the ball in that position. So,
bro,
again, Rosca has all these options. So
that's what he did. That's what he did against remember the semi-final ads, yeah? When we played against City, we played fucking Gallagher left wing, and we had a midfield of Enzo, Caicedo, and Palmer in the 10, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say.
Quality that day.
And that midfield nullified Man City's midfield. It was Doku that changed the game for them. So I don't know why Chelsea fans have this thing where it's like, oh yeah, but this guy can't press. Oh well, this guy can't get got legs. Like, bro, it don't work like that, bro. You got to think about your players on the ball first. You get me?
Yeah, but Palmer actually can press as well. That's the thing. He can do the work off the ball.
He's actually pretty good.
Yesterday wasn't
good at
great.
It. Very, very smart how he does it, bro. Very smart. Remember that goal he scored against Everton, bro? He just got in the head of Pickford.
Yeah,
made him give him the ball, and he just played it, bro, and he scored.
He did that multiple times last season. He's a very good presser. Very good presser. I wouldn't say that like he had the greatest game yesterday. Like again, didn't get enough touches, but like to be honest, he just applied a couple bullets to the back post. Was it Tim? No, it was Enzo to Neto. But I know he passed one to Nkunku. He had a couple opportunities.
And Enzo kind of
Jackson, exactly. That's true. But ultimately, I don't think that there's a problem with playing him on the right, because we did see Malo Gusto overlap enough to give him the space and whatnot to come inside. But I just don't think that he had a good enough game. Like, I don't think that he was good enough on the ball.
Wasn't effective.
And to be honest, no, not at all. And to be honest, if we're talking about substitutions, like if we're going to go into Maresca, like he would have been the guy I would have subbed off. To be honest, like he just was not effective. He wasn't affecting the game enough, and I would have kept Nkunku on, moving Nkunku into the 10. But there's another day to have those discussions.
What about Nico? Nico, what are we saying about Nico? We don't need a striker, just 2 strikers only. Nico,
I mean, maybe I should go first in this, because I was trying to I was big on Nico last season, and I said he had a good preseason. Listen, give him time. technical ability is there. He links play, all this stuff, right? Cool. And in the end, he gave me 14 league goals, so I can say that I left for something in it. But this season, I'm not trying to leave with anything when it comes to Nico in it. I'm trying to see the whole bench. I'll be honest, man. Listen, he brings some good things, and I'm all well and good for him having been a backup striker because he's decent and he's better than guys like Højlund. I'll stick by that. But is he good enough to start for Chelsea? No, because we have a clear issue in the box, and it's not good enough. And I think even the chance he had when Lavia headed it to him, like, I feel like Nkunku probably scores that. I'll be honest. I feel like Nkunku does enough to get the ball and doesn't aim it at Ederson. He puts it in one of the corners at least. Yeah. So it's just a shame that Jackson does that because then he'll also give you poor moments in transition where like it's time to find the final pass and he'll rush it or he'll take too long on the ball. Again, one of the offside moments that he had where he took like 17 touches before getting a shot of it's like you don't need to do all that, bro. Like any normal striker's not doing all that. And then it was so awful. So like I just can't go a whole season watching that. I can't. The constant offsides, the constant like horrible shots that you wouldn't even see at a semi-pro level. I can't do all that. Like again, what you do being like press resistant and all that stuff is great, but I'm sorry, we need a proper number 9. And again, Napoli, I think they started off the season with like a 3-0 loss or something. Like so, it's clear that they need to make their signings. They need to go and bring Lukaku in there. We need to get Osimhen out of there before PSG do something because flipping when Carlo Ramos got like a really bad injury on the weekend, so they need a striker. We need a striker.
You think Nico does better on the wing yesterday than Nkunku?
Yeah,
probably. But we have Neto, who's better there, so I don't really need to see much on the left.
Apparently, PSG have ruled out going in for
they have
for Osimhen, even despite the injury. So we'll see, but. We have a free run at this guy. You guys know how I stand. I stay with Osimhen. I'm not really crazy about paying overs for this guy, but we have a serious need for a striker right now. Just just somebody that can be identified as an actual number 9.
Yeah.
Like we need one now, right? So I just need to see this guy come in. I'm almost to the point where any striker will do right now. I know I've been like banging on for months, years that it's not about any striker will do. I just need somebody that can just operate in the box.
Chris Wood, yeah, you're coming around to that
one. Yeah, I might be actually. He scored on the weekend too. But I just think we need somebody that can operate in the box right now. So as far as Jackson goes, I can't be angry. I wanted to see him finish that chance that Lavia set up for him. That's exactly where you want him. Just pick a corner there. He's in. Puts it right into the keeper. I just need somebody that's a little bit more aware in the box as well. Like he scores. Obviously, he finds the back of the net, but how are you not onside at that position?
Well, that was the worst part of the whole performance. Yeah, that was like that's a golden chance for like a Haaland, or just by staying on side, like that's a goal. Like, and that's part of it. Like, just because you didn't miss the chance doesn't mean you didn't do your job as a striker. Like, a big part of your chance a big part of what it takes to be a good striker is positioning yourself well. And a Haaland wouldn't make that mistake of being offside. Not even a Haaland. Like, okay, maybe I shouldn't use Chris Wood here, but just I think any normal striker. Okay, I feel like any starting Premier League striker would not have made that mistake. I'm sorry, most of them are staying onside there, and then the finish is normal. Like the finish is easy at that point. So. That's horrible because that changes the game. And again, for as much as we talk about Enzo or we want to talk about our centre backs, all these little things, if you just have a striker who puts the ball in the back of the net when you have moments in games, it changes the whole narrative of a match. Yeah. So
it's true.
It's true. It's a different game.
Yeah, I'll give him a 4.
I think he was a 0. No, I'm joking. He was a 0. Do you know what he is? He does all the deep bit well. He holds the ball well. He twists. He's strong. He carries the ball well. He's passed behind to Nkunku was good as well. Does all that well. Yeah. But when you get into the box and you're offside, he's offside at this point, and he's touch. And then then he, I don't even know what that shot was. Was it a pass? It side foots it to Ederson. I don't know.
Bro, he passed the virus on.
How did it look on? How did it look
the virus on? Bro, he passed the virus on to Nkunku because Nkunku.
Don't say that.
No, I'm telling you. For this game yesterday.
Don't say that, bro.
For this game yesterday, Nkunku was trying to walk it in himself, and he was pissing me off as well in front of goal.
We know Nkunku doesn't want to play on the wing, bro. I know he had to play it yesterday because of City, but how many times, like if you look back, how many times have we went safe mode and it's actually worked?
Exactly, bro.
Committing to the play, man. It's kind of annoying. We still end up losing 2-0. Like
Exactly. AJ, bro, you saw all the lineups. You saw all the lineups that I sent in. Yeah, and on that left hand side, I had a touchline winger. The only person that I thought would start on the wing, that I didn't want to start on the wing was Palmer to get all the midfielders in, because I thought he'd try to pack out the midfield. But I thought at least there'll be one direct winger.
Yeah, you need one. If Palmer's
by
going to start on the wing, you
halftime,
need
that
one
shit
winger.
should have been changed up and let's go at City. You know, it's
Yes,
the safe
yes.
mode shit doesn't work. Like 90% of the times, you still end up losing.
Exactly, bro.
Can I just say as well, like, we have Palmer and Nkunku. I think for me, they're two of the best attackers in the league. Like, we've obviously been starved of it because they've been injured. Like, so Nkunku's been injured, but like, I want to see these two close together on the pitch. Like, so we can't be starting against wingers.
How do you get them both close on the pitch? Like, what setup are you using?
Palmer
to
on
get
the right
Nkunku?
and Nkunku on the 10.
I mean, we can talk about 3-4-2-1s, all that stuff, but generally just like a pivot in midfield. You can pick two of the three, and we have to discuss who that's going to be. And then for me, I would probably play. I like Madu. I like what Madueke's been doing. So like, it's like, who do you want? And Madueke or a Neto? Because you can start one of those two, and obviously then Palmer and Nkunku then either play in a 10 or one can play out wide. So if Palmer's on the right, then it's Neto on the left, or if it's Nkunku on the left, then it's Madueke on the right with Palmer in the middle.
I'd play Neto, Nkunku in the 10, Palmer on the right, and then a striker. That's what I would do.
So he's still playing on the right then, is what we're saying, right?
Yeah, but the chemistry, but he's closer to Nkunku.
Because he can work on the right. I think he's better in the 10. It's just we also have Nkunku who's great in the 10 as well. So like either or, and then which winger is in the one that's the most informed? You know,
effectively, Palmer inside on his right, on his left, you know, into that central row anyway. A lot of time he can go out wide and he gives you the width, but he likes to come in anyway.
Yeah, and against lesser teams, he will get more opportunities to do that. Because against City, it's hard to do that when
you know that
it's
City, you know what I think? Yeah, you're right. And like obviously we have to pack up the midfield, as Don said, like just to cope with what City does well. But you know what I think the problem is with this setup right now is that we're trying to fit two players into the same position, right? And I think that like what Maresca is going to have to do, we're not going to be able to see the Maresca's system as we saw it at Leicester. We're not going to see that. We just don't have the personnel that do things like our best players need to be on the pitch. And to be honest, if we're going to play with Palmer and Nkunku at the same time, one of them is going to have to play out wide. One of them has to play at the number 10. It's just that simple. And the more suited for that role to me is Palmer, right? And if you're going to play Palmer and you still want to have that width, you're going to have to advance one of those fullbacks into the final third, which is what we saw from Malo Gusto yesterday, right? Like he wasn't very good, but you know, that's what you're going to see. I agree with what most of you guys are saying. I don't understand how Madueke didn't get on the pitch yesterday. I'm still dumbfounded at the fact that like the preseason that he had, where granted he still frustrates you because he's still young and he's still learning the game. He's exactly what this game needed, you know, like just somebody that can get out on the touchline, you know, use his pace, his dribbling ability, you know, obviously his crossing ability is not great, but just somebody can just stabilize that back line.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have anyone that was doing that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they had two players that was doing that against.
Yeah, literally. And that was what was killing us. Like, but like, we're going to get onto Maresca. Yeah, 100%. And it's like, you saw him have a good preseason, and it's like, we have to talk about Maresca's decision in terms of like, again, you took off Nkunku, he was our best attacker in preseason. And it's like, Madueke was probably our next best attacker. You didn't even get a minute in the first game. And Neto, who's just been bored, I get it, like he's been bored. There's a lot of energy around him and whatnot. Like the fans certainly picked up. They actually made some noise for a bit in the game when he came on. But like, you bring him on before Madueke, like you know Madueke's fuming at that. Like, like he didn't get on, and Neto came. He's just been in a few days, has got in ahead of him. So
you don't need that.
I don't really like that from Maresca.
With Nkunku and Lavia sub, I can't even talk down on it too tough, bro, because they might just be managing their minutes. Yeah,
for sure.
I'm not really trying to hear that though, because he played a lot in preseason. Then he only played a half against Inter last week, so like you've had a whole week.
I think he's experimenting.
Like, why can't he play more than 50 minutes?
Yeah, but we don't know. We don't know what the plan was. How many minutes Nkunku was going to play, bro? That's what I'm saying. And the fact is, he was played on the wing because the worst thing we don't want happening, Ads, is if we play him for a little bit longer and then he just goes down. Now he's out for a month. Yeah, I'd rather he just come off. The thing is, I didn't want Nkunku to come off because I would have taken off Enzo. But if you are going to take off Nkunku, obviously he brought on Neto, but I would have brought on Madueke as well, bro. I didn't really see the need to bring on Dewsbury Hall because at that point they were basically playing a low block, bro. That's where you need to stretch the pitch. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
His
I don't have a
wasn't
problem
doing
with
anything like he couldn't. There was no space.
I have a
didn't have a
Cole
problem
Palmer question though. Do you think this Cole Palmer is he a guaranteed starter player?
yeah, 100%. After
Cole
last
Palmer?
season,
Cole
100%.
He has to
Palmer.
be. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, he has to be.
at the moment.
I think Maresca rates him.
yeah.
I think the fact that Maresca played him for what 90 minutes, even though he's not been fully fit, so he definitely is in Maresca's
he's-
mind.
You gotta play.
And I thought it would be Nkunku more than him, but he took off Nkunku for 50 minutes. So it looks like
Palmer,
let's keep in mind. Let's keep in
Palmer's
mind. Like with Nkunku, we're playing. It's what Sunday, Thursday, Sunday. You know, he's gonna have a part to play on Thursday. I guarantee that.
That's why
And-
Lavia come off as well, I think.
Exactly. I just don't think you can overtax these guys who have had like these muscular injuries last little while, right? Like, so yeah, I didn't love the fact that like Nkunku came off, but I can understand it.
What I think he will do over these next two games period is I think he will play Palmer, Jackson, and Neto, all these players that need the minutes now. Now they'll probably start to get the minutes built up because, like you said, Nkunku and Lavia have played a lot of preseason football. Let's be serious; they've played a lot. So it's kind of like I still see him going into the team. It's just how he utilizes it and works with the system. And this is what I'm so intrigued to see in the next couple of games. How does he structure us against other teams? Does he switch it when we go into another game? Does he, like all of this? This is all what I need to see now. What is his idea? What is his mindset, when we're going into these games? Because Wolves away, let's be serious about Wolves away. We got a shit record there. Like, it's not a good home, bro. Like, good ground for us.
Yeah. I'm sorry, yeah. We must. We must, yeah.
Yo,
they did the double on us, yeah. Bro, they did the double on us because before I go, because I gotta go, man. Yeah, listen, they did the double on us last season, yeah. I watched them against Arsenal, and bro, it's just the same shit with Wolves. Very good in build up. Decent, they can build from A to B, but when they get in that final third, boy, it's peak. That's why it was so bad that Cunha managed to score a hat-trick against us, bro. Because in that final third, they are not good. They're really not. You know what I'm trying to say? So we need to make sure that we're beating these lot, bro. We need to make sure, bro. We need to start our season. Like right now, it doesn't really feel like we've started on a negative. We need to get a W, man. And like you've said, Jem, our record hasn't been great against them recently. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, it hasn't.
So
it hasn't.
Now I'm looking at Maresca. Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes. We've seen already in pre-season he's tried quite a few things. Like against Inter Milan, he did like a diamond sort of shape. We'll see in it because he's got a lot of he's got a lot of weapons to use for different battles. Yeah. So let's see what he does. But man, them love. I've got to get back to work.
I think just to finish.
I just want to say, sorry. Let me just say quickly again. It's not like it's been a lot of negatives around the club, and obviously we just lost the game. But like, it's not all doom and gloom. It's just if we lose or we don't beat Wolves, then it's like okay, that compounds because now we've dropped points in the game that we shouldn't have. Like, it's not an easy place to go and win, but if we want to be getting top four, we need to. And like, especially after the start of the season that we had with losing to City, all the nonsense around transfers and players not even being able to go, and all the negativity around the club. We just have to go out there and win. And I want us to look good and win. But if we play poor and win, I'll take it, man, because we just need to win. We need to get into the habit of actually winning games.
And this is why we've got to get behind the players as well, guys. Like the fans, I promise you now, Wolves away, them fans will will get behind them. I've been to so many away games. The away army are just always singing, doing their thing and supporting the team. We need the same at our home ground. We need to make that. We need to help them, because we keep forgetting. Yeah, right. You might not like these owners that put out these, all these young players who've got fielded the youngest team in Premier League history, but they are lacking experience. They are lacking a bit of they need that come on, go boost. It does. It makes you feel better, doesn't it? When someone's getting behind you and you're trying. If you hear someone going, fucking hell, what you doing? You're gonna be like that, isn't you? It's natural, isn't it? Like, fuck, I can't seem to get anything right. So, it's just about
Cole Palmer, I want to see a complete game from him, man. I'm tired of these little moments. I need a full game from him now.
Who?
Cole Palmer.
Yeah, obviously he's had a bit of a rusty start to preseason and everything. So I'm just hoping that we see
He'll come alive
again. I don't think he's going to play too much part in Thursday, so we're going to see him start again on the weekend. And it'll be interesting to see if he starts in the 10 or on the wing again. So we'll see. But of course, we need again. He's our best player, I think, on par with Nkunku for me. So we need to see it. And again, we have to see it because it's Wolves away. We got to win. We can't go 0-2 in the
league. We're going to do we'll probably do a preview to all that on the weekend anyway. We've got Serviette, the napkins on Thursday anyway. The dining.
Wait, I thought you were joking at it. Are their names actually the napkins?
Yeah, their name's Serviette.
No.
They're called Serviette. They're a napkin.
Oh,
They're not. Their name is not Serviette. It's Servette.
Yeah,
anyway.
we just call them Serviettes. Anyway,
Yeah, and then when they smash us 4-0.
Whoa! We're not gonna put that out there.
Yeah, and then
don't be dissing the opponents, man.
You turn it into the chat, bro.
Don't be dissing the opponents, man.
Don't turn it into the chat.
I will come on here and take the mick out of a dining cloth beating us, pretty much. Yeah, guys, big love, man. Good show. I appreciate it. Lots of good insight, lots of good talk. You can feel Chelsea are back, just even on this one blooming match 1 of 38. I could be a bit more. It's been a good show, man. It's been a good show. We've got to keep getting behind them. Let's see what happens. Hopefully they can get us a couple of W's now. I looked at our run for the next 6 or 7 games, and I saw it was quite a good run. There was obviously Servette, there was Wolves, and it's Servette again. Then we've got Southampton, we've got West Ham in there.
It's similar to last season, to be honest. There's a nice run, and if we don't capitalize, we have a very tough run coming up in October. Which
So this is a period where we've got to kick on. I agree. Like we need to kick on. So let's see what happens. But guys, we're gonna dip 2 hours and 10 minutes longer than I expected. See you later. We'll be back very soon. Peace out.
Yeah,
Enzo Fernandez.
Well,